Thursday night affair between the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars and the Bethel College Pilots. Pilots coming into the ballgame ranked number 11, 17-3. The Cougars coming in 13-7, coming off of both teams coming off Crossroads League's win. Very impressive performance, Mark, in the Cougars' last performances. They thumped a pretty good Marion basketball team, 91-68. Pilots, of course, doing what the Pilots do really, really well. Grind, get things done. They've won 7 games in games decided by 2 possessions or less. They did it again against Taylor University, erasing an 11-point first half deficit to come back and pull out the W. Contrasting styles in many situations between these two clubs, but one thing is very, very apparent. Both teams have got great balance from start to finish.
Yeah, both teams are deep. Both teams like to get up and down the floor. They score a lot of points, but they also give up a lot of points. I think the big key is Mount Vernon's record, 8-2 at home, 5-5 on the road. And obviously the Pilots' home record. So I think that's where you swing the advantage to Bethel. But Bethel's been a hard team to figure out this year. They play real well for spurts. They play real poorly for spurts. Iowa was the only game they played poorly for the entire game. But at Taylor, it looked pretty bad early, and then they turned things around. And so which Bethel team's going to show up?
When you look at the big picture of this fact of the seniors who are going to be going for win number 100 tonight, 20 teams or 20 programs or 20 senior classes have won 100 games. They're on 99 today. So for Mount Vernon, they could be the victim, number 100. Second part of the equation, Mount Vernon has never beaten Bethel here at Bethel College. And certainly everybody knows that's going to figure into the equation. Pilots are 10-0 here at home.
Yeah, this Mount Vernon team is a different team than these past couple of years. Coach has done a great job of getting these guys to buy into what he does, finding the right players for his system. And so, we're in for a good one tonight. This is a team that can score. They can score a lot, and they can score from a lot of different ways.
College basketball, Crossroads League men's basketball. The Bethel College Pilots in action against the Crossroads League fourth-place team, the Mount Vernon University Cougars. We'll be back with more right after this brief timeout on Regional Radio Sports.
For more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC. Centier Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Centier's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Centier Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Centier.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
College basketball here today from Mike Lightfoot Court. Thanks for joining us here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Condry, along with Coach Mark Gardner. Joining us now here is the head coach of the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars, Jared Ronai, spending some time with it. Jared, first of all, congratulations on the new arrival in your household. What a blessing for you and your wife. 2 kids now in the household, and you're settling in. Good season, so life is good, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our daughter, Cameron Joy, was born October 19th, and along with our son, Kyler James, who is 3, it's been a very different season, but just such a blessing, and it's been really, really awesome.
What do you like about this basketball team through the first 20 games, Jared?
Well, we got a nice mix. We only have 1 senior, but we've got a couple juniors that have a lot of experience. And we've got some pretty talented freshmen that have really helped us along. And biggest thing with us is we're really, really balanced. I don't think you can just look at our roster and pinpoint a best player or a top player. I think we've had a lot of balance all season long, and we've continued to get better day in and day out on the defensive end.
Crossroads League thus far, you guys are right there in the middle of the pack. A pretty good season thus far, 5-3, tied for 4th. Has anything surprised you in the league? Second part of the question is, your team responded the way you would like them to in the best conference in America.
Well, the league is, as always, every time you think the league's going to take a step back, it seems to take a step forward. And I think the league is as balanced, as ever. When you see, just the other night, Grace, who's really talented, hasn't won a game yet, take Indiana Wesleyan to overtime at Indiana Wesleyan. It goes to show how good the league is from top to bottom. And we've responded well. I think we've got some older kids now who really understand this Crossroads League and understand the grind day in and day out, and that's really helped our young kids grow throughout this season so far.
All right, tough question here. You've never won in this building since Mount Vernon joined the league. Let's talk about what your team has to do to change history today.
Sure. We really got to be good on the defensive end. Obviously, Bethel's a very talented team with really talented post play. We got to do a good job of really starting on that defensive end and finishing plays with a rebound and hopefully getting out in transition a little bit. It's a tough place to play. We always say in certain most gyms in our league you got to win by 8 to win, just because a lot of teams are going to be +6 or +8 as soon as you walk through the door. So we got to do a good job of really being poised and having composure for 40 minutes tonight.
In theory, coming off a monster win against Marion, beat them badly, and the Pilots struggled to get an overtime win against them. Give us an idea on what's the difference. Did you guys just make shots when you needed to? I went back and looked at the play-by-play, and boy, I tell you what, it was a 4 or 5 point game. Next thing you know, bomb. You guys are breaking the whole thing wide open. Your thoughts on your team's performance against Marion, and can you duplicate that?
Well, obviously we did shoot the ball well, but it started on the defensive end for us. We were able to get multiple stops in a row, and obviously we want to play fast when we rebound. So we were able to get stops and really ignite our transition, and that gave us some confidence in the half court as well.
Final thought: what do you got to do to win this game?
Well, we got to put 40 minutes together. You got to, with a team like Bethel, you can't have 4 or 5 minute lulls. We have to move on to the next play when things don't go our way. We got to have great composure, and on the road, you got to make some shots.
Congratulations on a great start, and congratulations, most importantly, on the new arrival.
Thanks so much.
We'll be back with more of College Buckets right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Today's game being brought to you in part by our friends at the Gates Automotive Group. Gates Chevrolet, Toyota 1000 use. Selection, price, trust. It must be true.
Bethel College men's basketball this evening here on Regional Radio Sports. The 11th ranked Pilots hosting Mount Vernon Nazarene. The Cougars are in town. They've taken the 5+ hour bus drive across snowy Ohio and Indiana to join us here today. Pilots coming off a big win against Taylor University. Joining us now, Ryan Lightfoot, who is the architect of Bethel's 3rd win in my career at Taylor. How'd you do it?
Well, I think, it's just a collective effort from a lot of different guys. I think it's the second time we've won a road game in league, holding teams into the 30s. We only shot 38%, but held them to 34%. So defense has to be the key, especially whenever you play, but definitely in road games. You've got to defend extremely well. I thought we did a really good job of doing that, especially in the second half, as we kind of strung together some minutes late first half and the second half. And especially what was nice for us was doing it without a lot of post play. Gage out goes 0 for 6, and Paul wasn't really effective. And we found ways to win anyways. When normally our post play is our strength, we find ways to win on the road is definitely a plus for us.
If I would have told you before the ball game, Ryan, that Gage was not going to have a field goal, was really going to be ineffective, and played as many minutes as he did, you would have said you would have lost the game, I'm guessing?
Yeah, Gage is obviously the anchor of our team, and he really sets the tone of practices and games. And so, he came back in the locker room before the game, and he said, I'm too sore to warm up. And I think right then we were just like, oh, boy, 3-game week, and he's too sore to warm up. I don't really know what that means. It means I've never been in that type of pain, but he's feeling good today. But that day you're just like, man, Gage, we feel for you, but give us whatever you can. And whenever you say that, Gage is going to give you more than what he's even capable of doing. He sets a tone. What he did doesn't show up on the stat sheets. He's 0 for 6 from the floor. But what he does, he sets a tone for us. He rebounds so well. And then he guards. There's very few post players that can guard like he does. He's guarding a 4. He's guarding a 3. He's guarding their 2. He's guarding Crow. Running around, chasing him off double stagger. So this gives a huge lift for us on the defensive side of the floor. So even though it didn't look like he was productive in the stat sheet, he gave us everything he had.
In theory, at least in my opinion, the 2 hustle stats that the Pilots are excelling at is, number 1, defensive field goal. You're number 5 in the country, and number 1 in rebounds. So tell me about that. Those are things Those are things that originate from inside your chest, in your heart.
Yeah, we love winning the rebounding battle. You look at our last 2 conference games, we lost the rebounding battle, and that doesn't sit well with us because that's just effort. That's getting on the boards. That's making sure you have the extra effort plays to really just go pursue a basketball on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. And so to get back and win the rebounding battle by the margin that we did just shows what our focus is. We want to make sure we rebound the basketball. So we're plus 15 on the boards against Taylor, and that's something that we don't take lightly. We send guys to the boards, and those guys they have their places to go, and they know the spots to be at to go get those rebounds, and it was effective for us. Not only were we rebounding the basketball, but I think even with that, we did a good job in transition, not allowing them to get open shots.
Mount Vernon pasted Marion their last time out, so they're coming in with a lot of confidence. They've never won in this building since they've rejoined this league, or since they joined the league. Give us your thoughts and concerns, because they provide tremendous amount of balance offensively, so you can't really cheat.
No, not at all. They have a number of guys that can hurt you, especially from the perimeter. You look at Joey Schmitz and what he's doing right now. He's obviously playing really well at 27 against Marion. And you watch the film, it was a quiet 27. He just hit shots, and next thing you know, they pull away. It was a 4-point game, and then they go back-to-back threes and start pulling away from Marion. And next thing you know, Marion's down 16, 17 points, and there's no way of getting back in the game from them. They're playing even up. They controlled the tempo. They hit their shots. They run their offense. And what they do is very similar to us, not overly skilled at a lot of positions, but they work so dang hard. Every single person knows their role, and they try to excel at their role. And it's a team that you have to match their energy for 40 minutes. They come in here, they know how to work. Coach does a really good job with them in terms of their preparation, and they come in here ready to play. And so you have to match their energy and match their work ethic every single play, all the way down to 40 minutes.
Prior to the Taylor game, you told me that there was a concern that Taylor would get into the bonus early, and that would be a key situation. Well, they didn't get into the bonus until late in the halves, respectively, so you were able to do that. You're in that same situation now with Mount Vernon. They're number 3 in the country in free throw shooting at 78%. I don't know if they provide the same type of challenge in the regards that Taylor did, but let's talk about keys to victory.
For us, I think it's the opposite. For us, we got to get to the foul line. They're down 105 free throws on the season, so they give up 105 more free throws on the year than they shoot. So they don't shoot a ton when they get there. They obviously make a high percentage of them, but we've got to be able to get to the foul line. That means we're attacking the basket. That means we're aggressive. That means we're probing the defense. We're allowing post feeds. We're playing through the post, playing inside out. But we have to hit some shots against these guys. They're very sound defensively. We have to open up and stretch their defense. And so for us, it's all about penetrating kick, find a guy, find the next pass, and then have the confidence to lift and knock in shots. As we knock in shots, I think it's going to open up some stuff for our post play. But for us, we've got to attack them on the offensive side. We got to make sure we're putting pressure on their post at all times, and we want to play a little bit faster than what we have in the past. I think for us, we want to make sure we're pushing tempo, because Jordy Moss obviously is a great rim protector, and we got to make sure he's running at all times. He's playing about 14 minutes a game. We got to try to eliminate him by the way we push the ball.
One thing is certain, that you can't prepare yourself mentally for a 3-game stretch here as you get into this middle game. But talk about physical preparation so that your body's ready to go for this quick turnaround, and then, of course, another quick turnaround.
Yeah, we talked about that on Sunday Night in Film. We said, hey, we want to be the hardest working, toughest, most together team. And I said those 3 areas are going to be tested this week as we come and prepare, because we have no idea what's in front of us, but we have to embrace it head on. And I said the toughness side is going to be factored this week. We have a road game on Taylor. You get back about 1 o'clock in the morning. Guys have class right away on Wednesday, and you turn around and have a quick turnaround on Thursday. And so for us, we try to bring this championship mindset. A lot of these guys talk about their high goals and what they want to accomplish at the national tournament at the NAIA level, and say, okay, you won your round of 32. Now you're playing in a Sweet 16 game, and then on Saturday you're going to go play in the Elite 8. And so just trying to bring that mindset, so hey, this is kind of a national tournament mindset in January. This is kind of a prequel to see what we're made of. So it's been really good for us in terms of our preparation. We're trying not to do a whole lot on the court right now, just because we feel like we're playing with porcelain at times. But for us, it's just our mental preparation, making sure we're keyed in on all of our factors.
Best luck today.
Thanks, Paul.
We'll be back with more BC Hoops right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Once again, thanks for being a part of the broadcast here today. And once again, thanks to our many sponsors, and as well as you for joining us on the broadcast. I'm Paul Condry, along with Coach Mark Garner. We're going to turn it over here to the legendary Brian Miller. He's going to walk you through the pregame particulars here moments from now. Cougars 13-7, 5-3 in the Crossroads League. Pilots 17-3, 5-2 in league play.
Champions of Character Initiative, we ask each of you to help create a positive, fun, and competitive environment by showing respect for one another. Fans, on behalf of the Crossroads League and Bethel College, please enjoy tonight's contest. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to please rise and kind of move your caps as Bethel College retired staffer Mr. Dan Knoll will lead us in tonight's opening prayer.
Father, we thank you tonight for your goodness to us. We pray that you would be with the players, those involved in taking care of the game, that you would help us and fans also to have the attitude that we need to have to protect the players. May Jesus Christ be honored in everything that is done and said tonight. And in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Fans, please remain standing as we honor America and those who serve and protect our great country with the playing of our national anthem. Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mike Lightfoot Court inside the Gates Gymnasium here on the campus of Bethel College. This is the Wiekamp Center. Thank you for attending tonight's men's basketball Crossroads League matchup between the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene University and the home team, your Bethel College Pilots. Let's meet the starting lineups now, brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. First for the visitors from Mount Vernon. Starting at one guard, a 6-foot senior wearing number 2, Joe Schmitz. At another guard, a 5'11" sophomore, number 10, Jacob Paul. At another guard for the Cougars, 6'5" junior wearing number 20, Brett Vipperman. Also at guard, a 6'5" junior, number 22, Jeremiah Roberts. And at center, a 7-foot junior, number 33, Jordy Moss. Head coach of the Cougars in his 4th season is Jared Ronay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's now the starting lineup for the home team, your Bethel College Pilots. At one guard, a 6'1" redshirt junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 1, Trayvon Covington. And another guard for your Pilots. He's 5'10" and a sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Number 5, Kyle Hartman. And then another guard for your Pilots. 6'1" senior from Bourbon, Indiana. Number 24, Tanner Shepard. And the men in the middle for BC. At 1 forward, a 6'6" senior from LaPorte, Indiana. Number 42, Gage Ott. And also at forward, 6'8" junior from Churubusco, Indiana, number 43, Paul Foreman. Bethel coaches are Alex Daniel, Andrew Wingreen, LaFonso Ellis, and head coach at your Pilots in his 1st season, a 2010 Bethel graduate, is Ryan Lightfoot. Fans, tonight's officials. Tonight's men in stripes, Mr. Brad Klaus, Mr. Todd Morgan, and Mr. David George.
All right, glad you can join us here today on Regional Radio Sports. I'm Paul Condry along with Coach Mark Gardner. Glad you can be a part of this broadcast in the Crossroads League. Mount Vernon decked out in the dark blue jerseys and shorts with the white numbers, Cougars in green, written on the back. And, of course, Mount Vernon on the front of their respective jerseys. Numbers are white. Bethel, home white jerseys and white shorts. Blue numbers trimmed in gray. Bethel written in blue. On the front, trimmed in gray. Glad you can join us. Ott to jump it up against Brett Vipperman, the Ashland High School Ohio product. And here is Trayvon Covington to the goal. Missed the shot easily. And back the other way come the Cougars. Cougars coming off a big 91-68 win against Marion the last time out. Pilots coming off a thriller against Taylor University, respectively. Racing 11-point halftime deficit. Bethel's moving from left to right on your screen. Here is Jordy Moss with the drive and a shot and a score. And what's the whistle for?
Got water over there on the sideline, much like what I did during the pregame show, tracking in the slush. You have to keep an eye on that as this game goes on.
Yeah, there's, at some point in time, you have to sort out the details of this time of the year. Take your shoes off. Honestly, Coach, that's what I did when I walked in the building. I took my shoes off and left them at the door and set up all the radio gear. By the time I got back, my shoes were dried off. But once again, there was nobody in the building but me. So it is what it is. Here's Hartman over the timeline now. Here, pull it up on the right wing, looking for some help. Comes out to the top to Foreman. Back to Trayvon, and some confusion on the far wing. The ball's deflected out of bounds. Tanner Shepard has a growth on his neck that is of concern. Here's a backdoor pass. Trey shoots, missed the shot. He's 0 for 2. Here come the Cougars.
Interesting, before that inbounds pass, Coach Ronay was saying, watch the back door, and the Pilots still got the back door. Couldn't finish, but they got the look they wanted.
Here is Jeremiah Roberts coming over here to the near side wing now to Schmitz. Schmitz comes out to the top of the circle now to Roberts. Roberts was a game-time decision. Here's a pass in the low post to Jordy Moss. Back out to the top now to Roberts. Roberts drives, cut off by Tanner Shepard. Pull up 14-footer, good. Mount Vernon leads it 4-0.
That's frustrating for Tanner because that's good defense. We've been hard on him at times this year about his defense. That was great defense. Just a tough shot.
Here's the ball in the hands of Paul Foreman. Goes right side now to Tanner Shepard. Tanner looking for some help. And a whistle on the Cougars.
Yeah, they were doubling down on Gage there when he came through on the cut. Trey's man just stayed there and tried to draw a charge. Got called for the block.
Joe Schmitz of Bloom Carroll High School in Ohio, guilty of the infraction. Here's an inbounds pass here to Trayvon Covington. He's 0 for 3. Tanner Shepard tracks down the rebound. Back out here to Gage and back to Hartman at the top of the ring now. Over here on the near side to Trey. Trey goes to the right elbow to Gage, and now here to Hartman. Hartman drives inside and scores. He did that several times against Taylor University.
I thought he got away with the travel there, but we'll take it as Pilot fans. Thought he got steps out before he put the ball down.
Jacob Paul hands the ball over here on the near side into the corner now. Vipperman backing in on Tanner Shepard. Leans, shoots, scores. 6-2, Mount Vernon. It's been easy for Mount Vernon in all 3 of their offensive possessions.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to watch. Are they attacking Tanner Shepard? That's back-to-back baskets on him now. 2 different players, though, so I don't know if that was just a mismatch that Vipperman took advantage of or if that was a plan by them.
Here's Hartman coming out here to the far side wing now to Tanner Shepard. Tanner into the low post now to Paul Foreman. Foreman shoots, scores. 6-4 ball game. Paul Foreman's first field goal of the ball game here at the 17:31 mark. 6-4 our score.
And we're used to seeing Paul use that spin move, and that time he just stepped through and went straight up and scored.
Jordy Moss going inside. Jordy kick pass here into the deep left corner. Roberts shots an air ball. Foreman the rebound. Be interesting to see how many minutes Jordy Moss gets. He's coming off as Hartman throws the ball away.
Make the easy one, not the great one.
Moss is coming off an ACL tear.
And he's looking slow already.
Here's the ball on the floor. Gage diving on the floor with a bad knee, tying it up. Alternating possession arrow will favor the Cougars, but a hustle play nonetheless by the Bethel senior, who will be joining us at halftime. Austin Jones from Winton Woods High School in Cincinnati will join us on the floor. Also, Jevin Cox Jevin Knox, excuse me, from Marysville High School in Ohio. A 6'2" Frosh will join him. He'll be the youngster wearing jersey number 3 with the red head.
Gage left some skin on the floor there when he dove, so he's getting his knee wrapped up to cover up the cut.
Glad you can be a part of this broadcast today. Crossroads League will set up the Crossroads League schedule here in a moment. Ball in the deep left corner, Knox. Knox comes out here to the top now here to Jacob Paul. Ball reversal back here to Vipperman. Shot ricochets into the corner where it's tracked down by Tanner Shepard of the Pilots. Pilots over the timeline now. Here's Hartman. Right elbow goes to Lutz. Lutz wrap around to the low post here to Gage. Ball skips through to Hartman. And then Hartman re-engages to Gage at the free throw line. Back here to Hartman, back to Lutz. Ryan Lutz comes back here to Fisher, who checked in at the last dead ball. It's a pass inside. The Pilots passing in the early stage of the game stinks.
And Gage just turned to Tanner and said it's got to be a bounce pass. It's got to give, he can lead Gage to the basket with a bounce pass, and Gage has time to get there with that rocket pass. He led him to the basket, but there's nothing Gage could do.
And now to move from right to left will be the Cougars. 4th place right now. They're 5-5 on the road. They have the ball here on the near side wing now, Knox. Knox comes around a right elbow scheme and one against Lutz. Comes back out here to the top now, Paul. Jacob Paul goes left side now here to Vipperman. Vipperman back to the top now here to Knox. Into the far wing now to Schmitz. His triple no good. Gage at the rebound. 15 feet away that ball ricocheted out. Here's Tanner Shepard in the deep left corner. Now here to the high post to Fisher, back to Lutz. Lutz 3, kaboom! Pilots lead 7-6.
Ryan Lutz, the only player in the nation to be in the 90-50-40. 90% from the free throw line, 50% from the floor, 40% from three-point line. Knocked that one down.
Ball here on the near side wing. Vipperman goes inside to the high post. Now here to Jones. Jones goes one-on-one, and a nice double down by Tanner Shepard as he was helped off the block by Luke Fisher. There's your first media timeout of the ball game. Our score, Bethel 7, Mount Vernon 6. We'll be back with more college basketball live from Mike Lightfoot Court. Mount Vernon, Bethel tonight, our feature matchup on Regional Radio Sports.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Mount Vernon to inbound the basketball coming out of the media timeout. Jacob Paul, a youngster from Canton, Ohio, inbounds the ball. Deep left corner now here to Knox. Back out to the top now, Jacob Paul. Paul goes now here to the left elbow to Austin Jones. Into the low post now to Vipperman. Vipperman one-on-one against Foreman, drives, cut off nicely. Shot clock winding down. Shot clock violation. Good job defensively. Boy, everybody off the Bethel bench jumping up and down after that defensive stop.
And that happens because there was a jump ball with 22 seconds. The ball was knocked out of bounds with 22 seconds on the shot clock. And so you come out of that dead ball timeout thinking you've got 30.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, shot clock violation.
Yeah, we saw it on Tuesday. Yep. Same thing happened.
Have to be aware of those dead ball timeouts, what the shot clock is.
Yeah. Lutz over the timeline now into the forecourt, goes down to Fisher. Gives way here to the point now to Trayvon coming now into the low post to Foreman. Foreman's going to back in. Paul looks, comes back out here to Fisher, back to Foreman. Foreman spins, looking for help. Coming for help is Ryan Lutz, and the ball's thrown away. Another turnover on the Pilots. Knox with the basketball over the timeline, excuse me. Spins inside the lane, ball fakes. And they got Lutz in the air, and it'll be a foul on Ryan Lutz.
It's good patience by Knox. Pump fake, spun, came back and got the
Let's take a look at what's going on in the league today, Coach.
It's a rare game tonight for us.
Exactly.
Thursday night game, so Mount Vernon Bethel's the only one. Tuesday night, though, boy, some great games there. Grace had a 10-point lead with 6:24 to go, got outscored 11-1 to finish that regulation, and then outscored 12-5 in overtime. So Indiana Wesleyan with the 12-point win, or 8-point win. Bethel, obviously, with a 6-point win over Taylor. Spring Arbor got hammered by St. Francis. Marion got hammered by this Mount Vernon team. And then Huntington Goshen. That was a game that in overtime, Huntington dropped a 3, got a steal, and dropped a 3 at the buzzer to win it. So some exciting games.
Knox a 97% free throw shooter. Makes 1 of 2. We're tied 7-up. Here is Covington inside of the low post to Foreman, and Foreman is hammered inside on the double team.
A lot of contact there. I was wondering, refs, we've got 3 veteran officials tonight, and they've been letting them play. Again, consistency is what we asked for, and so it's only the 3rd foul of the game here.
And at the 14:39 mark, Paul Foreman will try to improve on his scoring total. He comes into today's game averaging 12.4, 6.8 rebounds, and an assist per ball game.
Paul, you look at these standings, too. If Bethel wins tonight, they jump up and do a tie for 2nd with Indiana Wesleyan. If Mount Vernon wins, they jump up into a tie for 3rd with Bethel. So both teams, looking for Bethel can give themselves a 2-game lead over Mount Vernon with the win here, or Mount Vernon can tie them up.
Of course, the Pilots will be on the road at St. Francis. This 2nd free throw by Paul Foreman, no good. So it's an 8-7 Pilot lead. So 2 pretty good free throw shooters the last time out for both respective clubs, missing shots. Here's Jacob Paul at the top. Comes back here left side now here to Vipperman, deep left corner now to Roberts. He drives, swings it out here, and Trayvon Covington comes away with the pumpkin on the play. Here's Hartman on the dribble drive. Shovels it inside to Fisher. He's shot from behind and blocked. Here come the Cougars on a breakout. Here's a drive, a shot, and a score for Knox. 9-8 in favor of the Cougars.
Yeah, and as Jones was running down the floor, he was shielding the defender there, and that's Ryan jumped off the bench and wanted the call as well.
Yeah, he's not a happy camper at the end of the floor right now. Here is Trayvon Covington. A slow start for Trey. Here's Paul Foreman, triple at the top of the ring. No good ball, ricochets out into the hands of Kyle Hartman. Hartman looking for some help, goes across court now to Lutz. Lutz will load up the triple, shot no good. Foreman tries to crash the board, and it's knocked out of his hands, out of bounds, and it'll be Cougar basketball. Now into the game will be Jay Joseph, a 6'4", 215-pound freshman from Worthington Christian High School in Worthington, Ohio, will be on the floor. Foreman grabs some pine, and Gage Ott is back on the hardwood.
And quick break for Gage. Back in there for Paul to give him a breather.
There's a pass inside to the low post now to Austin Jones. Goes one-on-one against Fisher. Comes back near wing now here to Paul. Jacob on the drive. Ball reversal back here to the near wing. And now into the deep left corner now to Roberts. Top of the circle now here to Joseph. Now to the right side now here to Knox. Knox on the dribble drive. Stops. Comes back out top now to Jones. 7 on the shot clock. Here's a travel inside. No call. Here's a backdoor play. Shot blocked. Rebound put up and in on the offensive glass by Jeremiah Roberts. And the Cougars having an 11-8 lead here at the 13:07 mark.
Yeah, Ryan calling for the double dribble as well as he caught it, dribbled again.
Here's Hartman coming out here to Fisher, back to the far wing, now to Lutz. Lutz back to Trayvon Covington. Trey, 3, bucket. Tie ball game. Trayvon Covington, his 38th triple of the year, ties up the game.
Andrew Wingreen just flashed a smile my way. Him and I were talking stats before the game. Trayvon shooting 8.5% from the top of the key, 45 to 50% from both wings. And he knocked that one down.
That's a really unique style. Here's Knox with the drive, kick out deep left corner. Here to Joseph. Joseph on the drive, rejected by Gage Ott. Now here are the Pilots on the breakout, and they'll settle into the half-court offense. Hartman on the near wing in a tie ball game. Looking for help, and that's a double dribble. That is a good call by Mr. George on the far side, because Kyle definitely double dribbled.
Yeah, went to pass it and then put it back down, and was hoping he could get away with it. Did a good job of acting like he didn't do it, but yeah, Coach Wingreen and I, we're stat guys, and that's what he breaks down. And so it was interesting that we were going over those shooting percentages, and Trayvon says, get out of here, guys. I got this.
It'll be Knox with the basketball. Jevin Knox now over the timeline, now into the forecourt. Hands it off now here to Jordy Maas. Now to the left side to Roberts. Roberts waiting for a cutter. Now here's Knox back at the top. Knox through a double screen. Comes back here near side to Roberts. Roberts pull up 12-footer in the lane. Good. Cougars lead at 13-11 here at the 12:02 mark.
Roberts with 6 points. He comes in averaging about 11 a game. Off to a good start for this.
He was a questionable start at game time. When I interviewed Jared Runai at about 30 minutes before the ball game, he said he wasn't sure he was going to start. Here's Kyle Thompson. And here's a foul inside Gage Ott being held. That's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down traditionally.
But it's a real good foul. That's like taking the holding call as a defensive back and not getting beat for the touchdown there because Gage had the layup. That's a good foul by Joseph.
Hartman to inbound the ball, fakes, looks, goes back out here to Kyle Thompson. And the Bethel senior comes over here to another senior, Tanner Shepard. Now here's Hartman to the top now, KT, Kyle Thompson. Backdoor pass here to Tanner Shepard. Tanner shovels it into the corner to Hartman. Now inside to Gage. Gage fakes, shoots, Gage fouled, and they're going to say Gage traveled. Boy, the turnovers for Bethel in the early going.
Yeah, a lot of traffic into that's a 5th turnover on the Pilots here in the first 8.5 minutes.
Pilots come in averaging 14.5 a game. The Cougars at 16. Boy, but they had more turnovers here in the early stages than most bakeries. Over here on the near side wing now, Roberts back out to the top to Knox. Knox drives, leans in and scores. 15-11 as Jared Ronai's squad has got a 4-point lead for the second time tonight.
Yeah, scoreboard says 15-13. He put the points on the wrong board there, so they'll get that fixed.
Back out to the top, Thompson. Over here to Hartman. Hartman on the right wing. Now inside of the low post to Kyle Thompson. Kyle's going to come across the lane, jump past to Hartman, and then he throws it away. Another turnover. Here's Knox, bounce pass inside, shot and a score for Joe Schmitz. Ryan Lightfoot needs a timeout. 17-11, and he will take one. A terrible start for the Pilots here, very similar to what we saw at a stretch in the ball game where they were against Taylor University, where they just seemed to be lackadaisical.
Yeah.
Our coverage today being presented in part by Lake City Bank. They're a proud sponsor of Bethel College men's basketball. Lake City Bank offers business loans and deposits, treasury management, and merchant services. Solutions for business, large and small. All delivered by local bankers. Go to lakecitybank.com/business for details.
That layup was a 10-point swing on the scoreboard there as they had the wrong score up there. They had the Pilots leading 15-11, and they corrected it during a timeout. So now you go from being a 4-point leader to a 6-point trailer, which is the correct score, but some of the fans that maybe weren't paying attention look up and they think, what did I miss there? So 17-11 trailers, and we talked about this in the pregame, Paul. You just don't know what team's going to – they could very well go on a 15-2 run here coming out of the timeout. We've seen that from this team, but they're just not consistent.
Yeah,
and you can't – this national tournament, that's what gets you. If you're not consistent down there, one and done, it takes one bad half and you're going home.
We saw that
Yep.
on a couple occasions. Here's Lutz with a pull-up 14-footer in the lane. Good. 17-13. Lutz's second field goal of the night at the 10:25 mark.
Yeah, right.
Moss goes left side now here to Roberts. Roberts back over here to Knox at the top. Knox. Wrap around to the low post to Moss. Jordy Moss with a spinner ram into the goal. No good. Ball ricochets into the hands of Trayvon Covington. Trey pushing it up the right wing. Puts on the brakes. Now dribbles to the top. 3 on the way off the iron. No good. Gage grabs the rebound. Back out here to Ryan Lutz into the corner now to Dominic Jenko. The 19th birthday boy goes inside to Gage, and he is fouled.
And Dominic had an open jumper, and he's kind of shaking his head. He was thinking unselfishly, which is a great idea. He's got the big fella down there, the senior on the post, but that's a little 15-foot pull-up jumper, and he threw it into a double team.
4 fouls now on the Cougars.
Yeah, Pilots only have 1 foul here in the first half.
And Dominic Jenko will inbound the ball to the left of the lane from our vantage point here at the center court area. Dominic goes now to Lutz. Pull up 16-footer in the corner, no good. Ball ricochets out on the perimeter to Jacob Paul of Mount Vernon. Paul over the timeline now. Goes here to the right side wing. Shot on the way. Air ball it by Brett Vipperman. Ball's on the fall with Vipperman. Tracks it down.
Shot clock did not reset because it didn't hit the rim, so we're down to 15 on the shot clock here.
Schmitz with the basketball right side wing. Goes now into the corner now to Paul. Paul dribbles here. Back out to the top now to Vipperman. Vipperman on the drive. Pull up 15-footer. Jordy Moss, the 7-footer with the rebound. Back out here to Paul. Paul to the goal for the goal. 19-13. Cougars at the 9:20 mark.
And he just beat Janko to the rack. Dom's a neat story as he's worked his way up the depth chart, but got to do a better job moving his feet defensively.
Trey Burns will be available on Saturday against St. Francis. Here's Tanner Shepard with a pull-up 16-footer. Missed the shot. Rebound ripped out of there by Jordy Moss. Here come the Cougar. Here's Jacob Paul with a drive. And he is fouled by Dominic Jenko. Came down awkwardly on the play. Our coverage today being presented in part by Cardinal Bus, the official carrier of the Bethel Pilots. Contact Cardinal for all your group travel needs.
this Mount Vernon team's done a good job of recognizing mismatches there. Just attacking Dominic. We saw earlier when Roberts got matched up on Tanner Shepard, just went right to the rack against him.
Free throw on the way. Picture perfect for Jacob Paul. He's a 79% free throw shooter. Mount Vernon has its largest lead of the night at the 8:56 mark. They lead by 7, 20-13. One more opportunity for Jacob Paul. Paula averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds a game. The right-hander shoots and does that again. 21-13 in favor of the visitors from Mount Vernon, Ohio. Pilots are in this movie on Tuesday night. Here is the pass inside to Paul Foreman. Foreman's hammered, no call, and Austin Jones grabbed the rebound. Now the ball into the hands of Joe Schmitz. Schmitz stops, goes inside on the wraparound pass to Vipperman. Vipperman with a spin, right-handed hook, no good. Paul Foreman the rebound. Up court quickly, streaks from Ryan Lutz. Lutz with a drive, kick out to Dominic Jenko. Now to Lutz here on the near corner. Lutz go around the screen, pull up 17-footer, good. 21-15, Lutz with 6 in the early going.
7. Knocked down a 3, yes. But somebody's got to step up and help out. He can't be the only offensive player, but good recognition by Paul. Set the screen for the hot hand.
Jacob Paul, and
That's
it'll be a blocking foul on Paul Foreman.
Yeah, you got to hedge on that and get home. Don't hedge and block.
The Pilot bench, of course, shortened, without the services of Grant Gaylor, still suffering from the concussion, with really no timetable to return. He did tell me, I talked to him before the ball game, that he's feeling better every day, that it's something that's it's a long, drawn-out process.
Yeah, and the concern, obviously you want to get him back, but then you have to make sure he doesn't get hit again. I mean, it's that second hit that really causes the problems.
Here's the pass to the high post now. David Delahunty, his shot no good, rebound, and then Tanner Shepard is tackled from behind, and that will be the 5th foul on the Cougars here in the first half at the 7:57 mark.
2 fouls on Knox.
I think Knox has played very well. I think that's a tough blow for them. And we have a media timeout. Last media timeout, Pilots led by 1. This time they trail by 6. 21-15, our score. We'll be back with more of college basketball. The Cougars in command here early in the ballgame. We'll be back right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Centier Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Centier's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Centier Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Centier.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
Glad you could join us here on Regional Radio Sports. A special thanks to our friends at the Gates Automotive Group.
Did you know that Gates Toyota has over 100 certified pre-owned at one Southside location? Just over the hill from high prices at Gates Toyota. Not just the prettiest dealership in Mishawaka, also the prettiest cars.
Gates knows. Now you know.
On the floor for Bethel College, it'll be Hartman, Lutz, Shepard, Fisher, and Foreman. Ball here on the right side now. Here, Lutz coming around the screen. Ball reversal back to Fisher. Luke, 3 off the iron, no good. Tipped up, no good by Foreman. And then the ball ricochets into the hands of Brett Vipperman. Vipperman over the timeline now. Hits Robertson's stride, deep left corner. And then a turnover on the Cougars.
Just not recognizing where you're at on the floor there. You got to have good court recognition. And Delahunty was not there. Coaching staff here reminding Knox he's got 2 fouls to play smart. I'd like to see the Pilots trying to attack him. Get that 3rd foul over there.
Here's Tanner Shepard, who's been really quiet here in the early going. Tanner, ball reversal here to the near side to Hartman. Hartman now here to Lutz on the right wing. Lutz on the dribble comes back here to Hartman on the far wing. Hartman around the back dribble, kick out to Tanner. The left-hander shoots, scores. Pilots have closed the lead to 3 after the Tanner Shepard triple at the 7:03 mark.
I was just going to say he's only taken 1 shot tonight. He was 0 for 1 before that one.
Ball here inside. Vipperman goes to the right wing now to Jacob Paul, into the deep right corner now to Delahunty. Delahunty back to the top now to Knox. Knox hands it off to Roberts coming around the screen. And here is Tanner Shepard doing a great job of knocking the ball away. But it's kept alive here by Knox. Knox will load from 3, off the rim, no good. Rebound. Paul Foreman tries to track it down, and Roberts knocked it out of bounds.
And Kyle Hartman just banged knees there. And we've all done that. We know how bad that hurts. He took knee-to-knee contact there, so he's going to head to the bench.
And now it'll be Trayvon Covington back onto the hardwoods. As Lutz will walk it up. As Coach alluded to earlier, it's been a special year for Lutz. Lutz, the transfer from Holy Cross College. Tanner Shepard goes back to Lutz. Lutz, 3, good. Tie, ball game, 21-21. Ryan Lutz show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he's 4 for 6 from the floor, 2 for 3 from behind the line. He's got 10 points to lead the way for Bethel.
Coach, I saw him a couple times at Holy Cross just absolutely light the gymnasium when he's in that zone. Here's the shot, no good. Foreman the rebound.
Yeah, you got to get him the ball, set screens for him. He's hot. Get him the ball.
Here's Lutz with the ball going now here to Fisher. Fisher lobs it inside to Foreman. Foreman back to Fisher, give and go, and he scores. Pilots lead 23-21.
And that looks there as Mount Vernon's doubling the post, whether it's Gage, Paul, or Luke down there. So when you feed the post, cut to the basket, you should get rewarded. Oh, there's a carry there that Paul got away with.
Ball here in the hands of Schmitz in the right wing. Back out to the top now here to Vipperman. Now here back to the top. 3 on the way at the top. Good off the hand of David Delahunty. Only his 14th of the year, and it's now a 24-23 Cougar lead.
Only his 14th, but he's only taken 27 this year, so he's shooting 56% from behind the line. You got to get a hand up on him.
Here's Paul Foreman backing in. Paul, right-handed hook, goes in and out. No good. Paul got the rebound back, and he was hammered on the offensive rebound. And now Bethel will be in 1 in bonus, I believe, from here on out.
Yeah, Delahunty's first, team 6, so Bethel will be shooting the final 5:47.
So Paul going to the line here. We mentioned it earlier. Cherubusco product, playing in his 19th game. This is his 18th start of the year. And big number 43 will have an opportunity to tie up the game, and he does so at 24-24. One more forthcoming.
Pilots now with 6 offensive rebounds. Here's a stat we always look at, Paul. Assists to baskets. The Pilots have 9 buckets tonight, 7 of them off of assists. Again, playing good team ball. Just need to get more of them.
Here's Foreman with 1 more free throw. Once again, higher off the iron.
Good
Kyle
tip out.
Thompson taps the ball out. So 1 of 2, and what a nice job off the bench by KT.
Looked like Wes Ledig right there, right? That was a Wes Ledig special. You can't rebound it, so keep it alive for a teammate.
KT hands it off now here to Tanner Shepard. Cross court now to Trayvon Covington. Trey around a Foreman screen. Comes back to Paul. Paul to the goal. He had it stripped away, and that was, they'll say that was a jump ball and another Bethel turnover.
Calling Paul for the push-off, I think.
Oh, my.
Yep. That's a good call because what happened there is Moss tied him up. I think Brad had the sign for the jump ball, but he didn't blow his whistle, and Paul was frustrated and kind of gave a shove before he went after the ball. That's going to be Paul's second foul.
So Ott back onto the floor, and a 24-24 ball game. Here is Vipperman into the deep left corner. Back out here to the top now to Joe Schmitz. Schmitz goes right now to Paul. Now into the low post to Jordy Moss. Moss one-on-one against KT. And a whistle, 3-second violation.
Ryan's been yelling for that all night. Yeah, he finally got it, but he's been yelling that several times tonight for Moss just posting up down there.
Jordy Moss, who hails from Barcelona, Spain. Coming off an ACL, he's a 7-foot, 260-pound junior. And now the Pilots in a 24-24 ball game will try to take the lead now here. Here's Lutz with a drive. He's had it blocked away. Lutz got it back, and the ball ricochets into out on the perimeter. Schmitz on the breakout for Cougars into the corner now here. Cross courts it now here to Roberts. Roberts shot way off the mark, rebound. Tanner Shepard. That was just a quick shot there.
Yeah, bad, quick shot. Pilots didn't find him, though, but fortunate went right to Tanner on the rebound.
Kyle Thompson back to Tanner Shepard. Tanner, cross courts it now to Lutz. Lutz looks, goes to the right side now to Trayvon Covington. Trayvon lobs it inside of the low post to Gage. Gage back out here to Trey. Trey, triple off the rim. No good. KT the rebound. The left-handed hook is good. KT gives his team the lead at 26-24 at the 3:47 mark.
7 offensive rebounds. That's a great job of being around the basket, staying active by KT.
He is just a great teammate. Jacob Paul goes inside to the low post to Jordy Moss. Moss Bodied up inside, kick back out now here to Schmitz. Schmitz goes deep right corner, skip pass to the top now to Vipperman. Vipperman triple, in and out, no good. Rebound, Lutz. Up court quickly, here's Trey. Trey stops in the right corner. Skip pass now to Tanner Shepard on the far wing. Tanner on the dribble drive to the goal, and he scores from the left block. Bethel's largest lead is on the score sheet at 28-24.
Gage kind of grimacing as he goes up and down the floor. Great recognition there by Tanner that the defender was overplaying, just went straight to the basket.
Schmitz comes out here high to the top now to Jeremiah Roberts. Roberts still on the hard dribble, goes right side wing now to Jacob Paul. Wrap around to the low post now. Vipperman, jumper over Trey, good. 28-26, Cougars within a pair at the 2:48 mark.
Vipperman with 4 points, 2 rebounds tonight. It's a nice little mid-range jumper by him.
Kyle Thompson goes right side wing now here to Tanner Shepard. Tanner goes now to the free throw line area to Ott and into the deep left corner now to KT. Now to the far wing now Lutz. Lutz around the screen. 3 off the rim, no good. Jordy Moss, the rebound for Mount Vernon. And a timeout on the floor, Mount Vernon. Pilots lead 28-26. 2:25 to go here in the first half of play. Appreciate you joining us here on Regional Radio Sports.
Did you know that Gates Toyota has over 100 certified pre-owned at one Southside location? Just over the hill from high prices at Gates Toyota. Not just the prettiest dealership in Mishawaka, also the prettiest cars.
Gates knows. Now you know.
Glad you could join us here today. Quick reminder that the Bethel Baseball Winter Baseball Camp is coming your way on February 15th here at the indoor baseball facility at the Bethel College campus for ages 7 to 13. Ages, once again, that is the time from 5 to 7, ages 7 to 13. Hitting sessions, $30. If you'd like more information on the Winter Baseball Camp by Seth Zartman and his baseball staff, make sure you reach out here to the Bethel College campus. Just go to the Bethel website, bethelcollege.edu. And go to the baseball, and Seth's contact information is there. It's an easy 1, 2, 3.
That first time, or last time out, it was 17-11. The Pilots were trailing. They outscored them 17-9 coming out of that timeout.
Here's an off-balance shot by Roberts, good. Or Vipperman, excuse me, and we're tied 28-all.
Couple pivots, looked like a travel, but I think he kept his pivot foot down. He was just active.
Ball here to the top of the circle. Tanner Shepard goes to Trey Von Covington on the right wing. Trey now goes to Fisher, and then back to Trey on the far side wing. Trey around a screen from Fisher, goes to the near side to Tanner. Tanner shot way off the mark, and it skips out into the third row over there.
We had a perfect view of that one right in front of us. You could tell it was going wide left right when he let go.
Yeah, that's one thing about it being at the location that we're at. When that shot from this near wing, we know it's going in before the... As soon as it leaves the hand. David Delahunty checks into the contest now, and coming out of the contest will be junior from Ashland High School in Ohio, Brett Vipperman. And now the Cougars with an opportunity to take the lead back here at the $1:45 to go in the first 20. Ball here at the top, Jacob Paul flares to the near side, drives. Kick out into the corner now to Schmitz. Schmitz jumper, short, no good. Lutz the rebound. Up court quickly to Trey. Trey on the dribble drive. Comes back out now to Lutz. Lutz, 3 off the rim, no good. Tipped up by Kyle Thompson. What a play by KT on the tip in. Bethel leads at 30-28.
He was getting boxed out, so he had the option of going over the back or just trying to keep it alive. He kept it alive for 2.
With the basketball, Jacob Paul comes back over here to the deep left corner, now into the low post now to Jones. Jones near block, one-on-one against Thompson. Fakes, shoots with the left hand and scores. 30-30 ball game. Really pretty good defense by KT on the play. It was just a great offensive play.
That's what I was going to say. That's a tough hook by Jones. Good defense by KT. 2 players doing what they're supposed to do.
Tanner Shepard goes inside of the low post now to Kyle Thompson. Thompson backing in. Kyle looking, turns with that little baby left-handed hook. Ball ricochets into the hands of the Cougars, Jacob Paul. Paul streaks up the right sideline. Still on the dribble, inside reverse layup. Got the shooter's roll. Cougars lead it 32-30. Here with 35 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, and I didn't like that last possession for KT. He's had some great offensive tips and keeping things alive, but him going one-on-one in the low post isn't the go-to move for the Pilots.
Here's Lutz with the ball out here on the perimeter now. They're going to play for the final shot of the half. There's a difference of about 5 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Lutz around the screen, comes back out high to Trey Von Covington. Trey gives it back to Lutz. Lutz now to Trey. Triple on the way. In and out, no good. A rebound. Ricochets into the hands of Jacob Paul. Paul, half-court shot on the way. Off the rim. No good. Mount Vernon will go to the locker room with a 2-point lead here in this topsy-turvy first half of play. We'll be back more to talk about it. We'll go one-on-one with Gage Ott, Bethel senior, and our senior profiles. That's coming your way right after this short timeout on Regional Radio Sports.
To be able to just get my son to St. Jude and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few, dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Nothing but top-selling models at Gates of Granger, Michiana's newest, hottest pre-owned sales lot. If you can't tell the difference, why pay the difference? Only you and I know it's used, and I won't tell.
Gates knows. Now you know.
Welcome back here at halftime. Mount Vernon Cougars, Bethel Pilots. Great Crossroads League matchup. Joining us here at the intermission, senior Gage Ott. Gage, first of all, let's just talk about the journey traveled for you and, you know, for a kid who grew up nearby at LaPorte High School, to watch you grow up playing high school buckets and then to see you come over here and play. It's been neat to see you grow up. Thanks for the memories.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out and watching. Just from going from LaPorte to here has been really cool because all my family has been able to watch me play throughout my whole career, and that's just something I've really enjoyed.
All right, I want you to talk about expectations going into this your senior season. I know that obviously as we're here in the gym right now, you're staring at 3 red banners. I think that anybody's ever put on a Bethel uniform says, hey, I'd like to bring one of those things home. Just talk about the journey and trying to put yourself in a position to even do that.
The biggest thing for me to put myself into a position to do that is just giving every day like it's my last day on the court. With my knee, I feel like any day, at any time it could give out. So if I go as hard as I can, it's going to inspire guys on my team to do that. And that's what you got to do to win a banner. You got to have everybody bought in 100%.
One thing that's been very, very apparent, you've been very, very emotional this year in regards to the way you've been playing. I don't know if, last year as a junior, we're kind of just taking a seat in the backside and watching those really good seniors lead, but now you're in that prominent role. Has it been difficult to make the transition from being the guy in the back seat versus the guy who's driving the bus?
A little bit, to be honest. I mean, my first year he had Matt Schaus. Second year, Matt Schaus, Clay, and Zach Miller. Second year had Clay, Caleb. Third year, Clay, Caleb, Jordan. And I just always been the guy that just kind of just did my thing, and I didn't really have a big voice. And this year, Ryan told me he wants me to have a voice on the team, and it's something that I've kind of struggled with at the beginning, but I'm starting to get the hang of it and really enjoying it now.
All right, let's talk about this basketball team. What do you like about this team? This team has been winning ugly, which I think is a compliment personally, because that means you're just a bunch of grinders out there.
Most definitely. I mean, Ryan said it, our last 2 wins have been the ugliest ones he's been a part of, but, I mean, they're still wins. They still count. We've been doing things, we're just grinding. That's how Ryan describes it. We're out here grinding hard every day, and that's what gets us the wins.
All right, let's talk about playing in this, the best conference in America, where there is no such thing as minutes off. There are no such moments as days off. So talk about getting yourself mentally and physically and emotionally prepared to play in the best league in the United States.
All right, playing in the best league is really good for us because we want to prepare ourselves to be ready for the national tournament. When we get down to the tournament, there's probably going to be 5 of our teams from our conference there, and so every time we have, like this week especially, we have 3 conference games, and that's just preparing us for the national tournament game set, because we played 3 games in 3 days.
All right, it's been neat to see you take advantage of some of the academics, but you've also had a chance to grow out here socially. I know there's a young lady who spends time with you who I had a chance to cover the last few years on the volleyball court. She's a big part of your life here. Let's just talk about having a neat relationship with your friend Haley Brown.
Oh, yeah, it's been cool. I mean, if I don't come to Bethel, I've never met her, and it's a pretty good thing for me, I think.
All right, final thought. When recruits come in to see the Bethel Pilots, what does Gage Ott tell the recruits?
Oh, this team's something special. It's not something that you see every day, the way that our team bonds, and it's something that everybody wants to be a part of.
You had a chance to give your life to Christ since you've been on campus. You got baptized, a real special moment during the summer. Share some of your thoughts on how awesome that was.
This is a real great experience for me. I never really experienced anything like emotional like that. And when we went down to the waterfall, it was just, like, you could just feel it. And I just knew it was the time, and I was so happy that I did that.
Proud to watch you, man.
Thank you.
Gage Ott joining us. We'll be back with more Bethel Buckets right after this on Region Rio Sports.
All right, Coach. I threw him a curveball high inside with the thing about Haley Brown. Of course, Haley, who a senior member of the Bethel volleyball team. Those youngsters have been dating, and so it's been neat to watch both of them watch each other's games and root and those kind of things. So it's what you do at the college level, don't you?
Yeah, and two athletes know how to pick each other up after a loss and keep each other humble after a win. And so I'm sure it's been real good for both of them.
All right, let's take a look at all the first half numbers, Coach.
All right, first half stats. Mount Vernon shot 14 of 30 from the floor, 47%. They were 1 of 10 from three-point range for 10%. 3 of 4 from the foul line, 75%. They had 17 rebounds, only 3 on the offensive end. 5 assists, 3 steals, 4 turnovers. The Pilots, 12 of 32 from the floor, 38%. 4 of 14 from three-point range, 29%. 2 of 4 from the foul line at 50%. They had 21 rebounds, 8 on the offensive end, 7 assists, 1 steal, 7 turnovers, which remember they had 5 early turnovers. They really settled down the last 11 and a half minutes. 1 block. Individual numbers, Joe Schmitz, 1 of 3 from the floor, 0 of 2 from downtown. He's got 2 points and a rebound. Jevin Knox, 2 of 4 from the floor. He's got 5 points and 2 rebounds. Jacob Ball, 2 of 4 from the floor. He's got 6 points and 3 rebounds. Austin Jones hit his only shot, 2 points and a rebound. Brett Vipperman, 3 of 8 from the field. He missed both 3-point attempts. He's got 6 points, 2 rebounds. Jeremiah Roberts, 3 of 6 from the floor. All 3 misses were from behind the line. 6 points, 2 rebounds. Jay Joseph was 0 of 1 from the floor. Jordy Moss, 1 of 2 from the floor. 2 points, 4 rebounds. And David Delahunty was 1 of 1 from the floor. He knocked down a triple, 3 points. As far as fouls go, Knox is the only player playing with 2 fouls. For the home team, Trayvon, 1 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 5 from behind the line, 3 points, 1 rebound. Ryan Lutz, 4 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three-point range, 10 points, 3 rebounds. Cal Hartman hit his only shot. He got 2 points and a rebound. Tanner Shepard, 2 of 4 from the floor, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Dominic Janko did not score in his time. Luke Fisher, 1 of 3 from the floor. He missed his only 3-point attempt, 2 points and a rebound. KT Kyle Thompson, 2 of 3 from the floor. He's got 4 points and 3 rebounds. Gage Ott has not attempted a shot tonight. 0 points.
That's what we saw against Taylor. The knees bothering him really
0
bad.
points, 2 rebounds. Paul Foreman, 1 of 5 from the floor, 4 points, 5 rebounds. So, you're down by 2. Your big fella's not taking a shot. Kyle Hartman only has 1 assist. He comes in averaging about 7 assists a game. Trayvon's 1 of 7 from the floor. Paul Foreman's 1 of 5 from the floor. So, to me, it's a pretty easy halftime talk for Ryan. Hey, guys, we're not playing real well, yet we're only down by 2.
Yeah, same situation against Taylor. We're not playing very well. We're down by 11.
Yeah.
And certainly you're in a situation now where you just do. And what we have got to really come to realize for the Bethel faithful, you have to understand plain and simple. This team is not going to win games pretty. It's not there is no Caleb Ochin. There is no Clay Yo. There isn't Jordan Kuhn and Ryan Wasink. Those guys have gone, and we go back and forth. This team is going to win games, and they're going to grind. That's the way this team is built, and that's what the team's got to get used to. People got to get used to. It's a completely different dynamic. Everybody hated the Detroit Pistons during the time the bad boys were there, and this team is built very similar to that team with the Detroit Pistons, and I was not a fan, but they won games ugly, and that's what this team is all about, winning games ugly.
Yeah, and so I guess you go in the Mount Vernon, locker room, and you're like, hey, we're up by 2 on the road against Bethel. It's a great position to be in. but they've not played real well and rolling up by 2.
Yeah,
So.
no question. We'll be back with more of College Buckets right after this. Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and a proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org.
There's always a moment of truth where it's either put up or shut up. We were yelling our hearts out. Even in our weakness, even in our pain, we continued to push. I don't know where the pain went to, but all I know is that I had what it took. I am a United States Marine.
PFC Darrell Willis serves his country as a Marine. Will you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Condry along with Coach Mark Gardner. Score was tied 6-time. We had 6 lead changes in the first half. Here we are right now. Mount Vernon leading 32-30. Mount Vernon comes into today's ball game averaging 84, giving up 75. They're out rebounding their opponents 36-31. Bethel comes in averaging 86 a game, giving up 74. Pilots are out rebounding their opponents 44-32. 14.5 turnovers. Pilots are shooting 69% at the line, and Mount Vernon is shooting 78%. Pilots are shooting 49% from the field. Mount Vernon at 50. Cougars at 39. Pilots at 41. And the Pilots averaging 18 assists, and the Cougars 15. And those numbers in the first half are similar with the exception of the scoring. I don't think we're going to see Mount Vernon get into the 80s, and I don't think we're going to see the Pilots get into the 80s at our current pace. Coach, you got your zip printing halftime trivia question.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been able to throw one of these out there, but zip printing. We do everything from business cards to signs, banners, and shirts. If Tanya gets a chance to get a good camera view of those nice NAIA National Champion banners to our right there. That was our most recent project we did in partnership with Bethel College, and we certainly love to support Bethel Athletics. So here's 2 Pilots have scored over 1,000 points, grabbed 500 rebounds, and shot 65% over their career. Only 2 Pilots in the history of Bethel basketball. 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and shot 65% doing so.
Eric Brand.
If you can name those Pilots, I'd be impressed.
Okay.
And your first guess is wrong. I would have thought Eric Brand was up there, but Eric is not. We're going to have to look up Eric Brand's career stats now for shooting percentage. But, so yeah, if anybody has a guess and you want to text us an answer, 574-274-6565, we'll give that answer a little bit later. 2 Pilots, 1,000 points, 500 rebounds while shooting 65% from the floor.
Our score 32-30 here at the intermission. All right, let's talk about getting Trayvon Covington in gear, getting Gage engaged out here in the offense. There's a couple guys. You got Gage comes into the ballgame averaging 15. Trey comes in averaging 13.5. That is a lot of points that have been left off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think from Trayvon, I liked his shot attempts. I didn't feel like he forced any. I didn't feel like he was out of control. He just couldn't get him to fall. I remember he had the first 3 shots of the game, and they were good looks, the backdoor cuts like that. So I think for Trayvon, you just encourage him that, hey, they're going to they're going to start falling, keep doing what you're doing. Gage is getting double and triple teamed down there, and the Pilots proved the other night he doesn't need to score for them to win. And so you don't want him to start forcing things. Tell him, anticipate the double team, find your cutters. We saw Paul find Luke on a cut early in the game. So tell Gage, just keep defending, keep rebounding, give us what you can, and if the scoring's there, great, but it doesn't have to be there for the Pilots to pull this win out.
We'll be back with more of college basketball right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union, financial solutions. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
Gates Automotive, Chevrolet, Toyota, 1,000 used. Selection, price, trust. It must be true. Gates in Michiana for nearly 100 years.
Mothers know minivans. Gates knows minivans. More vans, more colors, more models and brands. Gates, more locations in Michiana, more savings.
Gates knows. Now you know.
Glad you can join us here on Regional Radio Sports. Pilots, Cougars, a rare Thursday night affair here tonight. Pilots, seniors, Gage Ott, Will Stevie, Tanner Shefford, Kyle Thompson. A win tonight would be their 100th win as a class. Only 19 teams have ever done that.
Paul, we're quick to get on the officials when they don't do a good job. I gotta give out props. Brad Klaus, Todd Morgan, David George called a good first half. I thought they were consistent. They let the guys play. They worked well together. It's a veteran crew, so I'm not surprised, but I'm quick to call them out when they don't do a good job, so we got to give them props. First half, well done.
Trayvon Covington pull up 17-footer, no good. Rebound inside, ripped out of there by Brett Vipperman. Vipperman will push the ball up over the timeline into the forecourt. Goes over here on the right side now to Schmitz. Joe Schmitz goes deep right corner now to Jacob Paul, and then back to the far wing now to Roberts. Into the low post now to Jordy Moss on the double team, a double down. Trey with the steal. Trayvon coast to coast, shot rejected, and then a turnover on the Cougars.
Yeah, Schmitz did not establish himself before he hustled back on defense. He was still out of bounds when he got that. It's unfortunate because I was really hoping Trayvon could get a breakaway layup, maybe get himself going.
And that'll be Bethel to inbound. Brad Kloss with the call down there. As Schmitz actually was out of bounds, pass inside to Gage and then back to Hartman. Hartman on the dribble, back to Trayvon Covington. Trey, wrap around to the low post to Gage against Moss. Shoots, missed it. Gage shoots and scores. Gage ties up the ball game at 32-32.
Gage with 2 points and 3 rebounds now. Way to stay active there.
Stat builder.
Yep. Ellis Gamage's the ball.
There you go. Jacob Paul with drives baseline. Ball reversal back to Schmitz. He loads up the triple. No good. Ryan Hartman the rebound. Hartman on the push out. Hartman over the timeline now. Pulls up 13 feet and scores. 34-32 in favor of the Pilots.
Kyle had a good offensive game, double figures against Taylor, and we see him now. He's 2 for 2 tonight. If they start getting 8 to 10 points a game from Kyle to go with all those assists, it's going to be a big change for this Pilot team.
No question about it. Here's Joe Schmitz, goes in deep left corner now to Roberts. Roberts back out to the far wing to Brett Vipperman. Vipperman backing in. Now out to Moss. Moss with the 17-footer. And that'll be Bethel basketball. 34-32 Pilots. 18:25 to go, regulation.
Yeah, you'll give up that shot if you're Bethel all day long.
And now to walk it up will be Kyle Hartman. Hartman now settles into the forecourt. Goes over here to Paul Foreman. Now gives it to Trayvon. High post pass to Gage. Waits for the cutter to go by. Gage, turnaround 16-footer. Bucket! 36-32. Gage says, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, and that's the difference. You have a big man on one end that misses it, leads to a turnover. Big man on the other end knocks down the free throw, basically.
Ball here in the deep right corner, Roberts. Roberts flares out to the right wing to the top.
Down low.
Now here's Roberts launching the 3 over Foreman. No good. Rebound. Jordy Moss tips it into the corner where Jacob Paul tracks it down. Hits the trailer now. Here, Vipperman, he drives. Deep right corner, Roberts. Triple. No good. Rebound, Paul Foreman. Here come the Pilots. Hartman at the top, looking for some help. Still on the dribble drive. Hartman off balance shot, no good. Rebound. Hartman got the rebound, and then he got hit from behind and no call. Here's Robertson transition. Kick out into the corner. Now to right wing. Schmitz on the way. No good. Rebound. Ricochets into the hands of Vipperman. And now the Pilots, Gage Ott with the steal.
A good hustle, good possession for the Pilots in the defensive end there.
Now the ball to the hands of Paul Foreman at the top. Paul on the jab step goes to Trey, and then deep right corner now here to Hartman. Kyle Hartman goes to the right elbow now to Foreman.
Foreman, pull up 17-footer, goes inside to Gage, and he lost the handle. And I don't know if it was a pass or a shot. I think it was a shot that was just bad.
Yeah, I think it's just a bad shot for Paul.
Jeremiah Roberts just ran over Paul Foreman, and Paul took that one hard.
Yeah, we've seen Paul take a lot of charges over his career. That time he got the knee right to the thigh, thanks to old Charlie Horse. Luke's going to check in for him. Lutz will check in for Trayvon. I'm concerned now, though, Paul. Trayvon wasn't even looking to score last time he touched the ball. And you're 1 for 8. Who cares? You're a scorer. We've seen him score in spurts. I heard Coach refer to him as a Vinnie Johnson-type player in the postgame show. And that's, he could put up 10 points.
Microwave.
Quickly. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Here's Kyle Hartman on the walk.
Yep, stay in his ear, build his confidence up over there on the bench.
Over here handing it off to Lutz. Lutz one-on-one out here against Knox. Back to Hartman, lobs it inside, now to Gage. Gage, back to Kyle Hartman at the point, wrap around to Gage again on the low post. And on the double team, Jeremiah Robertson, here's the ball. A big collision here at the middle of the floor, and here's a foul on Ryan Lutz.
Yeah, and Gage is going to get credit for that turnover. That was Tanner Shepard's turnover because Tanner cut through and dragged a defender over to Gage. It was Tanner's defender that reached in there and took it away from Gage on the dribble. Court spacing.
36-32 Pilots, 16:24 to go here, second half. As Jevin Knox goes out here on the post now to Austin Jones. Back to Knox. Knox traveled with a basketball. Mr. George with the quick whistle.
Great defense by Luke helping out there, and that's a good call.
Mr. George is the official stat man of Indianapolis Cathedral Sports. Good friend of mine. We talk every weekend during the high school football season. Tanner Shepard, fadeaway. That's a terrible shot. And this one goes out of bounds. What is Tanner thinking about there?
Just one of those things we talked earlier. Tanner's not been shooting the ball a lot. He's 2 for 4 tonight, and so that's just a bad shot. 2 for 5 now. It's a bad possession.
And Ryan asked him, what were you thinking? 16:07 to go. Was that the media timeout? That's a Ryan Lightfoot timeout.
It's 30-second, yep.
So Ryan will take a timeout. We're going to keep it right here. Lake City Bank is a proud sponsor of Bethel College men's basketball. At Lake City Bank, local bankers provide checking, savings, and loan products along with the technology to manage them 24/7. Go to lakecitybank.com/personal for details. Member FDIC. Cardinal Bus, the official carrier of the Bethel College Pilots. Contact Cardinal for all your group travel needs.
All right, Paul, what was our halftime score?
32-30.
And how many points does Mount Vernon have right now?
32-30.
Yeah, 32, yeah. So Pilots outscored them 6-0 here in the second half. And I don't know, to me, I just looked up there and realized it, but it doesn't seem like they haven't scored. You're 4 minutes in, and they've yet to put the ball in the bucket. So you've come out and responded in the second half defensively. Now you got to do better on the offensive end.
Jacob Paul with the ball here at the top now. Hands it off on the come around here to Vipperman. Now to Robertson, the right wing. Now he'll dribble to the far wing where he hands it off to Paul. Paul back out to the top now here to Vipperman. Vipperman in the right elbow. Goes deep right corner now to Knox. Knox back out here to the top to Vipperman. 11 on the shot clock. On the dribble drive, running one-hander. Roberts scores on a highly athletic play. 36-34 at the 15:40 mark.
Yeah, that's a tough play. He's got Luke and Gage both there in good defensive position.
Tanner Shepard goes to Hartman inside of the low post to Gage. Gage shoots, scores. 38-34. Gage, who was scoreless in the first half, has scored 6 here in the first 5 minutes of the half.
He didn't take a shot in the first half. He's 3 of 4 here this half, and that was easy offense for Gage right there.
Ball on the far side wing, Jacob Paul comes out high now here to Vipperman. Vipperman around to Knox, who traveled, coming around that screen. Back out here to Vipperman. His shot from 3 is good. 38-37 as Vipperman finally finds the range here at the 15:03 mark.
And notice Gage is guarding him. Here's Luke with the answer on the other end.
And he does so. Luke Fisher's on the score sheet with a triple at the 14:55 mark.
And Gage has been guarding. He's not guarding the other team's big lately. He's been guarding, playing defensively against shooters, and so he's on Vipperman tonight.
Bethel a 41-37 leader. Ball at the top now. Knox on the drive, stops, goes right corner now here to Vipperman. Vipperman one-on-one against Ott. Goes bounce pass to the corner now here to Jacob Paul. Crosses over on Hartman, beats him, throws it inside, and a foul called on the Pilots.
Yeah, Tanner reaching in there. It's going to be his first, team's third. It's unfortunate because there was less than 5 on the shot clock on that one. Media timeout now.
Here we have our media timeout. 14 minutes. 27 seconds remaining here in the second half. The Pilots a 41-37 leader here at the media timeout. We'll be back with more BC Hoops right after this.
on Regional Radio Sports.
It's pouring rain. It's real dark outside. Your heart starts beating really, really fast. You've never done anything so hard in your life. This is boot camp. This is the real thing now. It's such extreme pain, you don't understand how you can finish. I began to feel that there was no way I was ever going to have my title, U.S. Marine. It takes special inner strength, courage, and desire to do this. I was just thinking, I'm so close. I'm so close. And when I finished, I was like, I'm done. I did it. The moment I will never forget is when this drill instructor that I admire so much comes up to me straight in front of me, put her arm on my shoulder and said, "Good morning, Marine."
PFC Summer Volkman became a Marine. Can you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
We want to say hi to one of our all-time favorite Bethel pilots watching across Golden Pond, Caleb Ochin. We're glad we're keeping you up there, buddy.
Yeah, Caleb likes these 6 p.m. starts. It gets him to bed at 3 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. So we
free throw good. We miss you. We're wishing you best of luck over there, my friend. Take care of your wonderful wife. And we're just been blessed by having the chance to have you here the last 4 years. A pair of free throws good. 41-39. Cougars within a pair. And now here's Hartman over the timeline now here at the point.
So remember, Mount Vernon didn't score the first 4 minutes of the half. They've now scored 7 points in a minute and a half.
Here's Lutz with a drive, pull up, 15-footer, book it, 43-39. Lutz with a deuce.
Coach Ronai did what most coaches have done, kind of looks over like, yeah, of course, yeah, best shooter, tough pull-up jumper.
Roberts goes into the low post now here to Jones. Jones back to the free throw line to Vipperman. Vipperman backs in. Back on near wing to Jacob Paul. Paul dribbles to the point. Ball reversal near wing.
Mismatch right there.
To Roberts into the low post to Vipperman. Vipperman had it tipped away from behind by Kyle Hartman. Here's Lutz flaring to the right wing. Looks for some help. Backs it out of harm's way now. Goes out to the point to Hartman.
Pilots have the mismatch now.
Now here's a pass inside now to Fisher. Luke pull up 15-footer. Got the shooter's roll. That's living large right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and Trayvon and Luke just tripped over each other. Hopefully Luke's okay there.
Luke with back-to-back field goals, or check that. Luke with 2 field goals here in this second half. He's got 5 points here in the second half, Coach.
Yeah, and that was, like you said, living large there because he had a huge mismatch against Paul, 5'9" Paul, but Paul forced him a little farther off the block than he wanted, but he got the friendly roll.
3 fouls have been whistled on the Pilot, 1 against the Cougars. 7 points now for Luke Fisher. As the Cougars, Jevin Knox, a Marysville High School native in Ohio, will inbound the ball. Here's the ball into the hands of David Delahunty. Back out to the top now to Jones. Back to Knox. Knox drives, shoots, scores an easy left-handed layup. The Olay defense by the Pilots there.
Yeah, and both teams are going to hit that 80-point mark the way they're playing defense here this half.
Here's the pass inside to the low post. And the call whistled on Austin Jones, the Cincinnati native.
It's going to be his second.
And that'll bring in Gage Ott for Paul Foreman. So on the floor for BC, Lutz, Fisher, Ott, Trayvon Covington, and Kyle Hartman. Ryan Lightfoot down at the far end of the bench, encouraging his basketball team. Now here's Trey in the near wing. Giving up the dribble, comes out high now to Luke Fisher. Fisher turns, wrap around to the low post to Gage. Gage fakes, leans, shoots, no. Rebound, that should have been a foul, Jacob Paul.
Yeah, he was not straight up. He went right into Gage defensively there.
Ball out here on the top now, Delahunty on the dribble drive, rejected by Gage Ott. And then back out here, I'm a double screen kind of guy.
Ball's on the floor, Gage on the floor, Hartman's on the floor.
And out of the rugby scrum they come. And here's the pass out here to Trayvon Covington. Trey flares to the top, shoots, 16-footer, not about the bottom of the net. 47-41 BC.
Love to see one of those little 8-0 runs here by Trayvon. See if that one can get him going there. He's got 5 on the afternoon.
Back here on the near wing now, Knox. One-on-one against Lutz. Drives baseline. Nice job by the Pilots, the double team. Kick out to Delahunty in the corner. His triple no good. Fisher the rebound. Here's Lutz pushing it up.
He's
now
got
finds
Gage
Trey.
if they find him.
Trey looking for help. Lobs it inside now to Gage. Gage for easy 2. Jared Ronai needs a timeout. 49-41. Ott.
Yeah, he heard you. He's calling for it, Paul. That's an easy one right there.
Timeout on the floor. Pilots their largest lead of the half.
Coach Mike Lightfoot just threw Gage's headband back. The refs are like, who's throwing stuff on the floor? It's Mike.
49-41 Pilots at the 11:53 mark. We'll be back with more of BC Hoops right after this timeout from Centier Bank.
Centier Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Centier's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Centier Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Centier.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
All right, Coach, you got any takers on that trivia question? Once again, that trivia question is?
Which two Pilots have 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and shot 65% over their career?
Tell me.
One former Pilot, one current Pilot.
Well, Gage Ott.
There you go.
Would be one of them.
There you go. Jody Goralski.
There you go.
Still here in town, working hard.
We want to thank our friends at Zip Printing for supporting our broadcast.
Hey, Zip Printing. Everything from business cards to signs, banners, apparel. I've been there now since July, and I love working for Kyle Johnson over there at Zip Printing. Great team. And all right, baseball fans from the 70s, if you remember Jose Cardinal, Gage is doing his best Jose Cardinal impression now with the hair. It's out of control out there.
It really is.
I love it.
With a basketball now, Mount Vernon into the backcourt now. Jacob Paul walks it over the timeline now into the forecourt. Goes right side now here to Schmitz. Back out to Delahunty. Back to the right wing now to Paul. Paul shot, no good. I'm screened out of the way by three again. And now here's Hartman on the near wing. Hartman flares through the lane, goes back to Trey for three. Bucket! Pilots lead 52-41. The microwave.
That's what we're talking about. Pilots on a good run now. Biggest lead of the game, and Trayvon's warming up.
Top of the ring now, Delahunty looking for some help. Comes out long now to Schmitz. He launches a long triple, and the Cougars answer the call at the 11-11 mark.
He's 1 of 5 from downtown today, but he's got 41 now in the season. Here's Trayvon.
Trey again for three. Bucket again. 55. Trey, welcome home, baby.
There's that 45 to 50% that he shoots from the wing. Both of those have come from the wing where he loves to shoot the three.
Knox with the basketball now here on the near wing. Crosses over. Flares kick out into the corner. Another three. Back to the way they answer. Jacob Paul as we're having an outstanding Duke out here.
It's a three-point shootout. Real quickly broke out here.
Here is Lutz on the right wing now. Looking for some help. Comes out here high to Trey. Trey, three. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, Joe Schmitz.
This place would have erupted if Trey knocks that one down.
Schmitz on the drive. Kick out deep right corner. Schmitz thinks about the Trey. One-on-one against Trey. Looking for some help on the hard dribble. Comes out to the top now here to Delahunty. His triple no good. Rebound, Luke Fisher couldn't track it down.
Good hustle by Knox to keep that alive for his team.
Back over here on the near side. Here's a drive and a foul
block
called on Luke Fisher.
Yep. Easy call there. Luke's second, team's fourth. Just got beat off the dribble on that first dribble.
And at the 10-minute mark, Bethel will take a timeout on the floor. 55-47 Pilots here at the 10-minute mark of the second half. We'll be back with more of BC basketball right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. BC basketball presented by the Gates Automotive Group.
Nothing but top-selling models at Gates of Granger, Michiana's newest, hottest pre-owned sales lot. If you can't tell the difference, why pay the difference? Only you and I know it's used, and I won't tell.
Gates knows. Now you know.
Keep in mind, we'll be back with you on Saturday. Double dip. Pilots, Cougars from the Hutzell Athletic Center. Jason Ridge and Eric Gingrich's women's teams will battle out first. 1 o'clock game. It'll be about a 12:45 start, followed by the #1 team in the league. And the Pilots are hoping the #2 team in the league. Because if the Pilots win today, they'll be tied for second. So a 1-2 battle could unfold in Fort Wayne on Saturday afternoon. Stay tuned for all the details. Coach, Take me through the final 10.
Right now, obviously, Pilot's playing with confidence. Trayvon and Gage have had huge second halves. But at the same time, Mount Vernon's, they've answered each punch by knocking down threes. So Pilots were up 11. Right now they're up 8. Mount Vernon retaining possession. So I think nobody's in foul trouble. So we're in for a good, entertaining, exciting final 10 minutes. I like this better than these games where, 8 guys on the floor are playing with 4 fouls.
Jevin Knox lobs the ball inside now to the big
there's a
7-footer,
charge.
Jordy Moss. Moss just ran over Paul Foreman. Foreman with the flop. And that'll be a turnover on the Cougars.
Has to lead the conference in charges drawn, and brings back memories of Mark Lettinga.
Yep. Dr. Mark, you mean?
Yeah, Dr. Mark was
Tanner
really
Shepard
good.
comes out high
Acting
now to
like he
Paul
got hammered.
Foreman. Back to Hartman on the wing. Hartman on the right wing, now dribbles back door
Nice
here to
cut.
Tanner Shepard, shovels it inside, and Tanner should have just shot the ball.
Absolutely, he passed on a layup.
Joe Schmitz with the ball here at the top of the ring. Now mark my word, that's going to come back to haunt him. Here's Jordy Moss with the drive. Backing in on Foreman. Now hits the near wing, now to Paul. Paul looking, wrap around to the low post to Moss. Back here to Paul. Paul on the dribble drive. Reverse layup, shot no good. Moss the rebound, lays it up, and a 2-shot foul coming for Jordy Moss.
And that's going to be 3 fouls on Lutz, I believe.
9:20 mark. The Cougars with an opportunity to dissect into that Pilot 8-point advantage.
Moss, 73% foul shooter. And Paul, the only thing I can say for Tanner is maybe from our angle, maybe Tanner was too low underneath the basket down there, but I can't think of any of the reason why he just didn't shoot that layup. He made a great cut, got the perfect bounce pass threaded through the needle to him, and just made one too many passes.
55-48. Our score is Moss knocks down the free throw. He'll have one more. Getting ready to come in will be Jay Joseph for Mount Vernon. Second free throw good again. 55-49 Pilots.
Pilots at 10 turnovers for the game, but remember they had 5 in the first 8.5 minutes.
I think I may have been 5 in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah,
really.
so only 5 in the in the next 20-some minutes. So
Here's Lutz with the ball on the right wing now. He'll run off a screen from Foreman, goes back to Foreman. Foreman on the jab steps, drives, shoots. Moss the rebound on the missed shot. Foreman out of control.
Bad possession. Yep. Bad possession.
Schmitz handing it off here to the top. Now here to Knox. Knox around a high side screen from Moss. Lobs it inside to Moss, then he lays it up and in on the alley-oop. 55-51. That's knowing the teammate that you have on the floor right there.
Yeah, that's one of those where it's one thing to be 7 foot. It's another thing to be 7 foot and be able to see that pass coming, get up and tip it in off the glass like that.
Lutz over here to Tanner Shepard. Tanner wrap around to Foreman. Pilots need a score. Here's Foreman looking out here to the top now to Tanner Shepard. Tanner with a jab step, hands it off to Hartman. 10 on the shot clock. Hartman goes to Foreman. Now to Lutz on the near wing. Lutz around the screen. Pull up 20-footer high off the iron. And it hits the basketball support. And it'll be Mount Vernon basketball. Cougars, coach, in the midst of a 7-0 run.
And Ryan telling Todd Morgan there that he had a little contact on his arm on that shot, and Todd wasn't buying it, so Pilot's going to have to get to work defensively here.
Fisher, Lutz, Shepard, Ott, and Hartman on the floor defensively. Here's Knox. Wrap around to Moss in the low post. Moss skips it over into the corner. Triple, no good. Gage out the rebound. And Hartman up the right sideline streaks. Still on the dribble. Looking for the cutter. Here's Luke Fisher going to the goal, and he was hammered. No, they're going to call the ball just plainly out of bounds.
And 22 on the shot clock. Trayvon checking in for Kyle Hartman. Gage now with 5 rebounds to go along with his 8 second-half points.
Wholesale substitutions for both ball clubs. Let's get them all when they're done. So it'll be Roberts along with Vipperman, Austin Jones, Jay Joseph, and also on the floor will be Knox. The Pilots will have Fisher, Trayvon Covington, Lutz, Shepard, and Ott. Here's Lutz with the basketball. Now to Tanner Shepard at the top. Back here to the left side, elbow to Ott. Ott on the dribble. Spins, comes back out here to Luke Fisher. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Trey. Trey around the screen. Still on the look, comes out to Gage. Gage, 17-footer straight on. Good. Outstanding jump shot from 17 from Gage.
That's tough to defend because they'll eat you up in the low post. You try and give him a little space, and he knocks down the jumper.
Back at the top, Pilots lead by 6. That ends that 7-0 run. Here's Knox at the top now. Dribbles down the left side of the lane. Gage cuts him off. Back to the free throw line. Shot on the way. Good for Austin Jones, the 6'7" sophomore from Cincinnati. 57-53.
Jones now 2 for 2 from the floor. He's got 6 points.
You can hear the coaches here in front of our vantage, but here's Lutz, had the ball stolen away. Knocks on the drive, shoots, and it's an error. And what a play defensively by Luke Fisher to not pick up a foul and also not give up the easy layup, which it appeared.
And a good call by the officials. They're saying there was contact, and Todd Morgan says there was, but your guy jumped into Luke Fisher. They're not going to reward him for that, and I appreciate that.
Back out here, here's Jevin Knox. Knox handing it off now here to Vipperman. Vipperman on the drive down the right side of the lane. Fakes, looks, comes back out here to the right wing to Jones. Back to Vipperman. Vipperman, cross-court pass now here to Joseph. Joseph on the dribble drive, shoots, and a foul whistle.
That's going to be a goaltend, I think. We'll see. Nope. David George is saying no, but it's going to be Ryan Lutz's 4th foul.
And at the 6:40 mark, Lutz picks up his 4th foul. And that's one way to keep one of the top Bethel marksmen out of the game. As going to the line will be Jay Joseph, an 84% free throw shooter. And he's calm, cool, and collected and knocks down the shot. 57-54. 6:41 to go in regulation.
Well, I've got Lutz 1 for 1 shooting in the second half. Yeah, we talk about those inconsistencies for this team. The guy's got 10 at the half. He's 4 of 9 from the floor. You got to get him more than 1 look in the second half.
Second free throw, no good, so 1 of 2. And here comes Hartman over the timeline now along the right sideline.
Huge mismatch down low for Foreman, but Jay Joseph's just going to bang on him.
Hartman comes out high to Ott, now to Trayvon Covington on the near wing. Trey is asking for a screen, comes back out high to Tanner Shepard. Tanner swings it to the right side now here into the low post now. Gage back out here to Kyle Hartman. Hartman on the dribble inside to Paul Foreman. Foreman drives and it's stripped away, and the ball goes into the hands of Jevin Knox. Nice job defensively by the Cougars. Here's Knox with a drive. Kick back out here to Joseph. Joseph, he travels, no call.
There it is.
Oh,
there
they
it
did
is.
Go.
A late call, but he's right. He didn't call the travel until the 4th step. He didn't call it on the 3rd step.
6:03 to go, and we should have our media timeout. Yeah, we're not going to get it.
That's all right. We'll keep calm. And
57-54 Pilots.
Last possession, Paul knew he had a mismatch, but the problem you have sometimes when you have a mismatch is you force it to a triple team, which is what he did.
Here's Tanner Shepard out high to Kyle Thompson, back to Hartman, inside to the low post to Gage. Gage stepped on the end line.
Yeah, Kyle led him too far to the baseline. That's too bad because he had 6'2" Jevin Knox on him. Missed opportunity for the Pilots.
Josephs comes out of the ball game. Jones comes out of the ball game. Now Jordy Moss comes back onto the floor. And also back onto the floor will be Jacob Paul. Paul will walk it up over the timeline now into the forecourt. Cougars can tie it up with the tray or come within 1 with a deuce. Jacob Paul at the top now. Flares to the right wing. Now back to the point. Back to the right side wing. And back to the top he goes to Vipperman. Vipperman with a drive. Shovels it inside to Moss. His shot is good. 57-56. Cougars within 1 at the 5:22 mark.
Kyle Thompson could have drawn a charge there, but he backed up instead of falling down, so the officials had him play on.
Here's Trayvon Covington on the right wing asking for a screen. Goes out high here to Tanner Shepard, now to Hartman. Hartman looks, bounce pass. Terrible pass by Kyle Hartman. But the Pilots got a break as it's a kick.
Everybody in the gym knew he wasn't going to shoot, though, and so Jordy Moss just backed up. He left Kyle open for a 5-footer.
There's a pass inside to Gage. Gage bumped off, shoots, and scores from the right block nonetheless. 59-56.
Gage took a little shot to the head there. He's frustrated he's not getting that call down low.
Pilots almost 3 minutes without a basket. They've allowed the Cougars to get back in it. Here is Knox with the triple, no good. A rebound, Jordy Moss. Kyle Thompson missed the box out. Here's a pass inside Robertson.
Yeah, KT's got a box out, and he gets beat off the dribble there and fouls. It's gonna
Coach, I couldn't see a thing
because the entire staff was standing up in front of you here. But his first, team 7th. So this one's going to be a 2-shot foul, but be 1-1 from here on out for Mount Vernon.
Roberts a 77% free throw shooter. I don't mind one guy standing up, but when all 4 of them stand up, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
How about Gage this evening, Paul? He's got 12 points.
All in the second half.
6 rebounds, and he does not have a foul tonight.
Free throw good, and it's now a 59-57 ball game. 4:42 to go.
We're used to seeing Gage pick up at least one silly foul, 30 feet from the basket, but he's been real disciplined tonight. Pilots need that.
Once again, Jeremiah Roberts, Toledo native, scores again, and it's a one-point ball game again, 59-58. Just to put this in perspective, Pilots are 3-2 when trailing at the half. And games decided in the single digits, Bethel 7-0. Here's a pass inside to Gage. Gage, not a Hartman. Pull up 16-footer way off the mark. And here comes, after the Jordy Moss rebound, it's Knox in the delivery mode. Back out here to Schmitz inside to Moss. Moss bounce pass out here to the free throw line to Schmitz, and Schmitz flares to the right wing. Schmitz goes back out to the top to Knox, flare far side wing to Paul. Jacob Paul dribbles to the top, 10 on the shot clock. Here's Paul on the drive, missed the shot. Luke Fisher the rebound. Now flies up the right sideline as Trayvon Covington. Back out to Fisher, near side wing now to Tanner Shepard. Tanner looking, inside 4 minutes to go. Shepard wide open, 16-footer, missed it, rebound, ricochets, out of bounds off the Cougars, Joe Schmitz. It'll be BC basketball with 3:47 to go. Timeout on the floor, Bethel College. Pilots lead 59-58, 3:47 to go in the ballgame. We'll be back with more right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
To be able to just get my son to St. Jude and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Thanks for joining us here on Regional Radio Sports. Let's give you a game reset. I'm getting used to doing this as of late, Mark. 3:47 to go in regulation. Bethel leads 59-58 here in the second half. 7 fouls have been whistled on the Pilots. 3 fouls have been whistled on the Cougars. 4 timeouts for Jared Ronai. Ryan Lightfoot has 2 timeouts remaining. The alternating possession arrow favors Mount Vernon Nazarene University. So you are up to date here. Bethel will have Fisher, Shepard, Ott, Trayvon Covington, and Kyle Hartman on the floor. Cougars will answer with Jacob Paul, Jeremiah Roberts, along with Brett Vipperman. Jordy Moss will be on the floor. And finally, it'll be Jevin Knox. Knox, the freshman, has played outstanding.
Paul, remember the Pilots held a 55-44, 11-point lead with 10:50 to go. They've scored 4 points in the last 7 minutes.
Here's the ball into the hands of Tanner Shepard here on the near wing. Hands it off to Trayvon Covington. Covington looking for some help. Goes to here to Fisher, now the right wing, now to Hartman. Hartman looking, goes out here to Ott High. Now to Trayvon. Trayvon around a screen. Pull up, 19-footer, bucket. Pilots lead 61-58 on the Trey 19-footer.
Trayvon started the game 1 for 9. He's now hit 4 of his last 5 shots. Got 13 points to lead the team in scoring.
Here's Jacob Paul coming back here to the right side. Now here to Vipperman into the low post to Moss for the layup. Just ate up Luke Fisher there, 61-60.
Too easy. He buried Luke below the basket there. A little left-handed drop into the bucket.
Here's Shepard on the near side wing. Goes out high to Gage, out at the free throw line. Now to Hartman. Hartman looks, goes back door here to Tanner Shepard, and he scores the layup. Nice movement off the ball by Tanner and a great delivery, too.
And that's the shot he should have taken earlier. Now Hartman, remember, only had 1 assist at the half. He's got 8 assists, 7 here in the second half.
Here's Jacob Paul now at the top. Goes right side wing, now to Vipperman, inside to Jordy Moss. Moss.
He hooked him.
With the dribble and a foul, and that'll send Jordy Moss to the line. Moss on the year, a 73% free throw shooter, averages 4 rebounds and a smidge under 9 points a game.
Hit both of his free throw attempts this evening.
He made them both at the 4:42 mark. And the right-hander from Spain shot no good on 1 in bonus.
Good foul by Gage. And again, it's nice that he's got fouls to give and he can get that foul down there.
Here's the ball on the left side wing now, Tanner Shepard. Shepard one-on-one here with Roberts, goes to Gage at the top. Now to Luke Fisher on the right wing, now back to Kyle Hartman. Hartman ball reversal to the right wing, wrap around to Gage on the 14-foot area. Gage shot no good. Fisher with the rebound, and he is hammered. Nice hustle play by Luke Fisher.
It's going to be a foul on Vipperman, only his first, only the 4th on the team, so they still have 2 fouls to give here in the final 2:20.
Inside 3 minutes to go in the ball game. Luke Fisher, 4 for 4 at the line, but unfortunately he's not going to the line.
Ryan Lutz, 19 of 20 inside 3.
95%.
Yeah. And credit the Pilots. We always talk about what your percentage is, but also who's getting to the line, and he's been to the line more than anybody else. The Pilots are getting the ball in the hands of the right people.
Big Jordy Moss coming out of the ball game now. Jones back in. Hartman comes back out here on the perimeter now to Tanner Shepard, and Tanner will engage the offense at the 2:15 mark. His club a 3-point leader. Here's Hartman. Now to Fisher, goes right side now to Tanner Shepard. Tanner on the dribble drive against Knox. Ball reversal back to Lutz. Lutz will come around to screen. Goes to the near side now Hartman. Hartman on the dribble drive. Reverse layup, score it! 65-60. Nice play by Hartman on the dribble.
Everybody's looking for him to throw it behind his back to Gage, so they gave him the layup, and he finished. 65-60, 1:51 to go. Hartman now with 6 points.
And a timeout. Jordy Moss's coach is not happy. And Jared Ronai looking things over here with his coaching staff, doing an outstanding job. Anthony Fairhurst, Matt Bradley, Jason Ronai, Will Smith, Deontay Cole, all his guys are been working hard in this game. And I would say the same thing for the Bethel guys. Alex Daniel, Andrew Wingreen, LaFonso Ellis not here today, but Ryan M has done an outstanding job. And with some of the scouting reports, I've seen some of his work. He has been a hidden gem for this Bethel team. Bethel basketball presented by the Gates Automotive Group. Gates Chevy Toyota 1000 used. Selection, price, trust. It must be true. Gates of Michiana. Let's give you a game reset. 1 minute and 51 seconds to go in regulation. Bethel leads 65-60. 8 fouls have been whistled on Bethel. 4 have been whistled on the team from Ohio. 3 timeouts for Jared Ronite. 2 timeouts for Ryan Lightfoot. Alternating possession arrow favors the team from Ohio. There you have it, Coach. You're all set to set it up.
Yeah, if you're Mount Vernon, you're shooting free throws every time you get fouled. So you want to attack the basket. If the three's there on a kick out, that's fine, but you don't have to shoot threes. And you can play aggressively on the defensive end. You've got 2 fouls to give before the Pilots are shooting on the 3rd foul. So you can go for a steal here and there, and if the officials don't call it and you get away with a little foul and the ball goes the other way, kudos to you.
Knox inbounds the ball to the backcourt now to Jacob Paul, and now he's in the half-court set. Goes down to Knox, back out to the top, now here to Vipperman, now to the near wing, now to Paul. Paul trying to get a wrap around. Here's a shot from 3, good from Joe Schmitz. 65-63 on that triple. Huge basket with a $135.
Schmitz with 8 points now. His last 2 baskets have been triples. He's 2 of 6 from behind the line tonight.
Hartman at the top of the ring now goes up to the near elbow. Where was Paul Foreman throwing the ball?
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to say, if I'm Mount Vernon, I foul Kyle Hartman the rest of the game and make him knock big free throws
Turnover
down.
On the Pilots.
Yep, didn't have to foul.
Jacob Paul on the far side wing. Looking for some help, comes out high now here to Vipperman. Vipperman right side now here to Knox. Knox inside of the low post to Moss driving down the line. Schmitz makes the layup and we're tied 65 all.
That just beat Tanner Shepard to the basket on the cut there.
Timeout, Ryan Lightfoot and the Pilots with 55.8 seconds to go. We're going to keep it right here. Our coverage today being presented in part by the Cardinal Bus folks, official carrier of the Bethel Pilots. Contact Cardinal for all your group travel needs. 65-65 contest. Once again, Coach Lightfoot with 1 timeout remaining. Coach Ronai with 3 timeouts remaining. 4 fouls have been whistled on Mount Vernon. 8 fouls have been whistled on the Pilots. The alternating possession arrow is in favor of Mount Vernon. There you have it. That's your game reset here with 55.8 seconds to go in regulation. And as I alluded to earlier in the ball game, Pilots are 7-0 in games decided in single digits. They're 2-0 in overtime games on the air, and they are 3-0 in one-possession ball games. Mount Vernon has never won at Bethel College.
Do you go against the norm, and foul Kyle Hartman, even though it's a tie game. We saw Huntington did this to Grace a couple years ago with Logan Irwin. You know, Huntington was winning or tied and fouled Irwin, who was a poor free throw shooter, and he missed. Huntington ends up winning the game. Do you let the Pilots run their play and risk somebody like Lutz or Gage, Ott, or Shepard knocking down a big shot like we've seen them do throughout their careers? Or do you put the pressure on Bethel and just make this a much longer game? You can get another 8 possessions of this game if you go that route.
Let's see.
Well, you still got 2 fouls to give, so at this point, I think you foul right away to get these 2 fouls out of the way in case you have to foul. Use them up.
Here's Lutz to inbound, goes now to Ott, and then back here to Lutz. Lutz on the right side, gives up the dribble, goes inside to the low post to Gage. Gage leans in against Moss and scores 67-65 with 46.5 seconds to go. It's Gage Ott. And a timeout.
Timeout Mount Vernon. Again, I'm just a color commentator, Paul, but I use up my 2 fouls there, maybe even use up 3 fouls before I let Gage out, who we just said is shooting 69% from his career. He's got 14 second-half points. You know, man, you send the 47% foul shooter to the free throw line before you let the 70% guy from the floor shoot, but what do I know?
The 21st meeting between Bethel and Mount Vernon. Bethel leads the all-time series 15-5. Bethel has won 4 straight in the series. The last loss to Mount Vernon was in Ohio on the 14th of February in 2015. Bethel won both games last year, 82-70 and 95-84. As the Pilots trying to improve their offering, they are 3-2 and trailing at the half. Let's see what these guys decide to do here. Bethel with a 2-point lead. Alternating possession arrow favors the visitors from Mount Vernon. And, of course, 8 fouls have been whistled on Bethel. 4 have been whistled on Mount Vernon. There's your game reset, presented in part by the Gates Automotive Group. Gates Chevy, Gates Toyota, 1,000 used. Selection, price, trust. It must be true. Gates in Michiana for nearly 100 years. I want to say hi to my good friend Bill Gates, listening out in Hawaii today. Bill, thanks for all your support. Foreman, Shepard, Hartman, Lutz, and Ott on the floor for the home team. On the floor for the visitors, it will be Vipperman along with Schmitz. It'll be joined out here by Knox, Jacob Paul, and Jordy Moss.
And that timeout for Bethel had to have a whole lot of people saying we need a stop. They've not stopped Mount Vernon often here.
Here's Knox with the basketball on the far side wing. Comes out high now to Paul. Paul wrap around to Moss in the paint. Knox backing in, fakes. Jump pass into the corner to Vipperman. Vipperman shot no good. Rebound, Lutz.
And that's you want to have the ball. Oh, don't give it. Oh, they got fouls given, so you're okay.
Over here to Tanner Shepard. Tanner Shepard is fouled with 17.9 seconds to go in regulation. Tanner Shepard, an 83% free throw shooter.
But it's not going to matter. They still have fouls to give, yeah.
Right.
This is where I think if you use them up, you know, at the 1 minute 55 second mark, now you're going to run. You got to run the 5 seconds off the clock here.
So now you've got the ball to inbound here on the near sideline. The person of Kyle Hartman goes to Gage, and then back here to Hartman, and Hartman is fouled with 16.2 seconds to go, a foul. And one more foul, coach, and
now you're going to get the ball into Ryan Lutz's hands. They're going to foul a 90% foul shooter. Well, it's interesting that. So you're going to run the same play. Lutz is going to
hear the coaches.
Lutz is going to inbound and come get it. Here it is.
And here's a whistle and a foul on the inbounds.
Are they going to call? Is Lutz going to the line or is Gage going to the line?
Foul on Jordy Moss. And going to the line will be Gage Ott. Gage Ott on the season. A 66% free throw shooter inside 3 minutes, 67% overall. And with 15.2 seconds to go, the senior, who was our halftime guest, will go to the line.
And that's a great job by Mount Vernon fouling before Lutz could get the ball back. Kind of surprised the Pilots had Lutz being the inbounder because you want the ball in his hands.
And here is Ott at the line. Free throw, no good. Rebound, Jordy Moss. The Cougars can win it with a 3.
He wants a timeout.
And a timeout on the floor as Brett Vipperman gets it over the timeline, and the timeout with 10.6 to go. Ott with the miss on the 1 in bonus. And we'll get back to strategy after the timeout. We'll be back with more Pilots by 2, hanging on for dear life here on Regional Radio Sports.
Centier Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Centier's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Centier Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Centier.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
Taking a look at what has transpired on the year. Mount Vernon, overtime loss against West Virginia Tech. Overtime loss to Marion. Bethel on the year. An overtime, double overtime win against Kaiser. And a overtime winner against Marion. So you have Mount Vernon 0-2. Bethel 2-0 in the overtime scenarios.
Yeah, so now you've got, if you're Mount Vernon, the rule is usually you go for overtime at home, you go for the win on the road. If you're at home, you go for a two-pointer here, you got the crowd, you got the energy and all that stuff. But when you're on the road, you got a 6-hour bus drive ahead of you, you put up a three-pointer and go for the win, I think, here. But we'll see. They went to Moss last time. The Pilots doubled down, kick out to Vipperman for a wide-open look. He wasn't able to connect. So Pilots have got to be careful. You'd rather defensively give up a 2 than a 3, obviously.
Ball into the backcourt, Jacob Paul. He flares right here to our vantage point. Around the screen, Paul drives, looks, pass inside to Jordy Moss for the layup. With 3 seconds, we're tied. Here's Hartman over the timeline now. Hartman running one-hander on the way. No good. We're going overtime. Jordy Moss scored with 3.7 seconds to go to send it into overtime, and that's exactly where we will be and play another 5 minutes. So we're going to keep our young friend Caleb Ochin awake over there for another 5 minutes. Overtime, 5 minutes more to play. We'll be back to tell you all about it right after this brief timeout on Regional Radio Sports.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
St. Jude continues to advance by increasing cure rates in childhood cancer. And donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. When it comes to research and advancements, there are some things that only we can do because we have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
All right, we'll put 5 minutes back on the clock. 67 all. Shepard, Ott, Lutz, Foreman, and Hartman on the floor for the home team. It'll be Moss along with Knox, Vipperman, also Schmitz, and Jacob Paul on the floor. Pilots decked out in the white shorts and jerseys in the blue numbers trimmed in gray. Mount Vernon decked out in the blue shirts. Blue shorts with the white numbers with Mount Vernon written in green on the front. Here's Hartman with the basketball inside of the low post to Gage Ott, and a blocking foul called on Brett Vipperman, and that'll send Paul Foreman to the charity stripe here with 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first overtime.
Vipperman's second foul, and I guess these two teams were jealous. 4 teams got to play a little extra basketball on Tuesday with some overtime within the Crossroads League. These two were not part of those games, so they thought, forget the fact that we're playing a whole extra game. Let's play an overtime game.
Especially since we got an early start.
As long as we're here, nobody wanted to get home early.
Foreman's free throw on one and bonus rattles it home, giving Bethel a 68-67 lead.
My precious 3-year-old daughter is waiting to play on the floor after the game like most kids do. And so when the horn sounded, she looked over and said, "Is it done now?" Doesn't understand that overtime concept yet.
Not yet. That's okay. Here's Paul Foreman with the second of his 2 free throws. This one perfect. 69-67. Paul with the 2 freebies. And now Mount Vernon will have its first offensive possession of the OT.
Lutz playing with 4 fouls here in overtime. Nobody else with 4 fouls.
Here's Jordy Moss for an easy layup. He's played the best he's ever played against the Pilots in his career tonight.
Yeah, Jordy, a 6 for 8 from the floor. He's got 14 points to go along with 10 rebounds and 2 assists.
He's really been a non-factor in every game that he's played against the Pilots
last
until
year,
tonight.
He had 2 fouls in the first minute and a half last year.
Yep. Shepard with the ball at the top, goes to Gage on the right elbow. Gage drives, hands it off to Hartman. Hartman with a dribble drive, kick out to Lutz for 3. Shot no good. Rebound. Foreman is knocked to the floor, and then we have a jump ball. No, it's thrown out of bounds.
Jump ball.
They're going to call the jump ball.
It'll be Mount Vernon ball. Paul, we've not seen Trayvon Covington in a long time. He had it shooting 4 or 5 in the second half from the floor.
Trey's last field goal was at the 3:26 mark, Coach, of the second half to put it into offensive pretenses, if you will. Here's Jacob Paul. Jump pass to the far side, now to Vipperman. Vipperman on the drive. Now here to Paul. Paul at the free throw line, stops. Looks out high, now here to Schmitz. Schmitz, one-on-one against Tanner. Shepard drives. Cut off by Tanner. Back out here, top 9 on the shot clock. Here's Paul. Back over here to Vipperman. Triple, no good, a rebound. And that'll be a foul on Jordy Moss over the back of Gage. And Jordy Moss is gassed.
Yep, 3 fouls on Jordy. Gage heads the line where he missed a big 1-and-1 at the end of regulation.
And with 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go here in the overtime, Gage will shoot 1 in bonus again.
Just think if we were calling a women's game, those would be 2-shot fouls. Wouldn't have to worry about pressure free throws, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gage, deep bend to the knees. Free throw on the way. Missed it again. Boy, I tell you what, some key misses down the stretch for the Pilots at the line.
He's had a great second half, 7 of 10 from the floor, but 0 of 2 from the foul line.
Here's the drive here by Knox. Back out to Moss to the top. Now here to Paul. To the right side now to Schmitz. Deep corner to Vipperman. Vipperman cut off by Ott. Vipperman back out here to the near side to Schmitz. Schmitz one-on-one against Tanner Shepard. Spinner ram it to the goal. He shoots, scores. 71-69 Mount Vernon. 3:07 to go in overtime.
Yeah, Joe Schmitz. Great second half. He only had 2 points at the half, and he's now sitting with 12 points.
There's a pass inside now to Foreman on the right corner. Now back to Lutz. Back to Hartman at the top. Now here to Gage. Gage thinks about the shot. Now goes to Hartman. Back to Lutz. Wrap around to Foreman. Foreman with a jab step looking. He's going to back in. Now inside here to Hartman. Hartman. Shot clock winding down. Fade away. 15-footer. Good. Oh, my. A huge basket by Hartman with 2:33 to go in the overtime.
Not the way you drew it up, but you will take it.
Back over here to the right side, Jacob Paul. Paul comes around a high side screen from Jordy Moss. Here's Schmitz with the drive inside. He just ran over Paul Foreman, and he takes the charge.
And that's going to be 4 fouls now on Schmitz. Paul's taking 3 charges tonight.
And now Trayvon Covington coming in. Luke Fisher coming in as Foreman, and Shepard have earned a spot on the bench. Nope, check that. Hartman will be on the bench.
Hartman just hit a huge shot with the shot clock winding down.
And now it'll be Bethel to move from right to left in a 71-71 ball game as Schmitz comes out of the ball game now, and back into the contest is Jeremiah Roberts. Also in the contest now is Austin Jones. Lutz playing with 4 fouls is over the timeline. Half to Fisher, now to Tanner Shepard. Tanner on the look, comes out high, now to Gage. Gage waiting for a cutter, goes to Fisher at the top. There's a pass back to Gage on the right elbow. Gage still on the dribble, gives it off to Tanner Shepard. The left-hander, top of the circle. Ball off the rim, no good. Here's Knox and company over the timeline now. He wants a timeout. And a timeout, Mount Vernon. 71-71 ball game. 1:49 to go in the first overtime. It'll be a timeout for Mount Vernon. And we'll take a timeout as well. We'll come back after the timeout. We'll give you the game reset, courtesy of our friends at the Gates Automotive Group. Well, once again, 71-71 ball game here in overtime number 1 on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They say growth is a journey and not a destination. At Teachers Credit Union, we agree. Helping our communities grow has been our mission ever since we began our journey in 1931. And supporting our members' growth has helped us to become Indiana's largest credit union. And we're just getting started. Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
Paul Condry, Mark Gardner, glad you can join us here today. Special thanks to our team upstairs, Tanya Condry and Andrew Bowen and his great work at the Bethel Sports Network and our collaboration here. It's Shepard, Ott, along with Lutz, Foreman,
Fisher.
And Fisher. And it'll be Mount Vernon to inbound. Joe Schmitz right here in front of our vantage point. Get your hands ready, Coach. This one can be coming right back into your chops. As Schmitz looks, goes into the backcourt now to Jacob Paul, and now Paul's back into the forecourt. And in the corner here to Schmitz, back out high to the far wing, now to Paul. Now here's Knox on the drive, fouled by Hartman, and that'll send Jevin Knox to the line where he is one of the best in America. 71% at the charity stripe, and some key free throws here at the 139 mark.
Correction. 97%.
Yeah, I said one of the best free throws in America. Well, I think 97 is about as good as it gets. 72-71.
Curious now. Now you got me doing some research to see how many he shot, because he's only 42 of 43 from the line.
And actually, didn't he miss one earlier tonight?
He did earlier tonight. So yeah.
So he makes the first free throw. So Knox with one more opportunity.
Yeah, he's 2 of 3 from the line tonight. He came in shooting 41 of 42. Man, oh man. So Zach Miller numbers there.
Right-handed free throw good again, and it's a 73-71 Mount Vernon lead with 96 seconds remaining in overtime. Here is Lutz here in between the rings. Wrap around to the far elbow to Gage. Gage turns and squares. Now hits Trey coming around the screen. Trey comes around a screen. Pull up 16-footer straight on. No good. Ball ricochets into the corner. Gage couldn't track it down. It's hauled in there by Austin Jones. Now it's interesting point time here for the Pilots on defense. They have got to stop.
Trayvon's first shot attempt in probably 7 minutes because he sat so long at the end of regulation.
Jacob Paul now in between the rings. Drifts towards our vantage point now here on the right side. Shot clock now at 9. Here is Vipperman with a drive. He scores. 75-71 Mount Vernon with the lead here with 52.8 seconds to go. Lutz on the right side wing. Lobs it inside to Gage. Gage backing in. Gage shoots, scores. 75-73. Timeout Ryan Lightfoot as Gage got the goal inside 3 feet with 43.1 seconds to go. 2-point ball game and a timeout. Coach, I'll let you set up the strategy here, hitting the home stretch.
Our listeners know my strategy, foul. You can let them use up the shot clock and try and defend, but if you give up a bucket in the final 5 or 10 seconds of the shot clock, you find yourself down by 4 with 20 seconds to go. I'm looking over here at Austin Jones. He's had a good night tonight, but he's a 65% foul shooter. I think you try and, let's extend this game. Foul him early if you can and make this a 4 or 5 possession game. Obviously you don't want to foul Knox. We just said he's, 43 of 45 on the season. And so,
so much for that idea.
Coach heard me as Jordy Moss just checked
Moss
in. But
is back in the game now.
Jordy missed his last one too. He's 2 of 3 tonight.
Look at the size of those boots down here. His shoes.
It's a big
He has
fella.
got to have size 20 shoes.
And it is a big fella right there. And he's had a great game for his team tonight. We've talked about the fact that he struggled here last year, foul trouble early and was a non-factor, but he has played well and coming off that knee injury. Good evening for that young man. But
Ott, Shepard, Lutz, Foreman, and Hartman on the floor for the team from Mishawaka. For Mount Vernon, it'll be Jordy Moss. He'll be also joined out there by Vipperman. In addition to that, he'll have Knox, along with Jacob Paul and Joe Schmitz. So there you have it. 10 fouls have been whistled on the guests, 9 against the Pilots, 1 timeout for each club. The alternating possession arrow favors Bethel. Ryan Lightfoot to my left with a scowl on his face. As Jacob Paul will literally walk it up over the timeline now. He's one-on-one against Lutz out here on the perimeter.
Yeah, they want to shorten this game down to a 10-second game here, this possession.
As once again, it's Lutz and Paul out here. And now they're going to engage. 20 seconds on the game clock, 6 on the shot clock. Here's Vipperman. Pass inside to the low post to Jordy Moss. His shot no good. Rebound ball's on the floor. Who's got it? Foreman, and Foreman is asking for a timeout, and he got a timeout with 9.6 seconds to go. It'll be Bethel basketball. So Moss had the look he wanted.
2 feet from the bucket,
and just couldn't knock it down. So Bethel survived that little bit of a anxiety moment. And we'll take a timeout, come back and set it up for you again. 75-73 in favor of the Cougars. 9.6 overtime one on Regional Radio Sports.
There's always a moment of truth where I say, look, it's either put up or shut up. And it was time to put up. I had crossed that thin line. It was 100+ degrees. We were hot. We were on fire. We were yelling our hearts out. You could feel the intensity rising. Even in our tiredness, even in our weakness, even in our pain, we continued to push. I told myself, you can suck up the pain for another mile and a half, and you will be a Marine. Not many people believe that I could do it. I don't know where I got the energy from. I don't know where the pain went to. But all I know is that I had what it took. I am a United States Marine.
PFC Daryl Willis serves his country as a Marine. Will you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES. With you, the proud, the Marines.
75-73 here in the first overtime. 9.6 seconds to go. Bethel a 2-point trailer at 75-73. Bethel to inbound. Here's Hartman quickly over the timeline now with 6. Hartman goes inside of the low post. Gage Ott fell down, and he's in a foul called on the Pilots. Coach, I was screened out of the way. I lost sight of the ball down there. Can you fill me in?
Yeah, Gage, I mean, I think there was some contact down there. They got their feet tangled up, and he ended up on the floor, but David George was not going to give him the call. And they've let him play all night, so I didn't see anything blatant. Obviously, Pilot fans are going to say it was terrible and horrible, but physical basketball in the Crossroads League, and unfortunate for the Pilots there in that one.
Knox free throw on the way, good. And next one can do it. 76-73. Jared Runeyes is going to finally get the Cougars off the schneid. If he can knock this free throw down, it'll be the first win for Mount Vernon ever on this floor.
And the Pilots let this one slip through their fingers. They had a chance at the end of regulation.
77-73. Here is Lutz, off balance three on the way, no good. Pilots lose the ball game to Mount Vernon. So now we have a tie in the Crossroads League for third place. Mount Vernon improves to 14-7 on the year, 6-3 in the Crossroads League. Pilots drop to 17-4, and now 5-3 in Crossroads League action. As we take a look at our Crossroads League standings now, 5-3 Bethel, or check that, 6-3 Bethel.
6-3 Mount Vernon.
6-3 Mount Vernon. And Mount Vernon, who's trying to make a bid for a home berth in the Crossroads League postseason tournament, and also an opportunity to make some noise in the NAIA National Tournament. First win of all time for Mount Vernon here, 76-73 in overtime.
Yeah, you've got 4 teams from the conference ranked in the top 13 in the country, and Mount Vernon's not one of them.
Let me correct myself, 77-73 in overtime as Mount Vernon wins the ball game, 77-73. We'll get it.
We don't see this often. These guys just hustled over here and picked up their bench. We're so used to I love our guys and I love what we do, but they kind of get used to this this level of play of having managers just clean them up after them, or a grounds crew that comes in after the game and cleans up. And how about that? The team hustles over here, cleans up their bench area, and we talk ball. We're blessed to be in this conference with young men that often go on to do great things to their community. And Coach Roney's obviously raising up these guys well and teaching them that it goes beyond just playing the game. It's how you represent yourself off the floor as well.
Now you go back and look at some of the golden opportunities. Bethel had a 55-44 lead with 10:59 to go. I think the key thing there, Coach, was those back-to-back when the two teams traded trays. I think when Trey hit the triple at 52-41, Mount Vernon came back and just answered. And Trey comes down, knocks down another triple, and then the Cougars answered again. And I thought that was gut check town for Mount Vernon, and I think that is plain and simple where the ball game was won right there, as they refused to go quietly here into the winter night. And I think that's what it was right there. And, of course, the Pilots missing some free throws. And the Pilots down the stretch, Gage out missing a one-in bonus with 15.2 to go, missing another one-in bonus earlier in the overtime. Those things, those opportunities, when they come along, you just got to seize those. For the Pilots, their first loss in overtime this year, their first loss of the year in games decided by one possession or two possessions, excuse me. Now we're going to bring in Andrew Wingreen, Bethel assistant coach. Andrew, this was one that you had a 55-44 lead. You traded a couple baskets with Mount Vernon, but I tell you what, I give the Cougars a lot of credit because every body punch you guys gave them, they gave you one right back. It was a good basketball game.
There we go.
Yeah, no doubt. They're a really good team, and Coach Renee does a great job with those guys. They fight hard. We knew, just scouting them and looking at what they do, they don't do anything special, but they try to outwork you and out-hustle you, and they just don't give up. They're relentless, and they deserve that one tonight. They did a good job.
The two teams very similar in that regard. Both teams that play hard all the time. I mean, when you look at the big picture in the first half, I thought your club did a nice job. I mean, you were responding. Guys were down 6 at one point in time, came back. You were down at the media timeout by 6, came back out and were able to make a nice run of it. But I think this game was a game of ebbs and flows, which is what you expect at this level. And it was just, for some reason, there was a stretch in the second half, Andrew, where you went almost 5 minutes and only scored 3 points. So that's a killer.
Yeah, we got stuck on, I think it was 55 or 57 for a while.
Yep.
And we couldn't get anything going offensively. Like you said, Trey kind of went on one of his trademark runs, but, while that was happening, we were also giving up buckets on the other end. So we traded 3 for 3, 4 straight possessions, and that, if we're going to go on runs, we need to make it a run, not just trading buckets. But, yeah, we hit a little lull and dug ourselves a hole. Let them get back out of their hole.
Okay, so now you're tied for third, and now you've got to go into the Lions' den.
Yeah, we felt like we needed to get this one tonight. Saturday's going to be a tough one, and obviously our guys are going to recover. We're going to bounce back. We feel like we got a good scout on them, and we're going to prepare tomorrow as best as we can. It kind of unfortunate that this game was supposed to be last Saturday and took 2 days of preparation away from us for a big road game against St. Francis, but we're just going to respond to adversity like we've done all year and come back, bounce back with a positive attitude, and go into St. Francis and try and get the win.
So when you look at these stats here on the night, and once again, you haven't had a chance to really dive into them, what disappoints you the most, and were you the most encouraged from the stats?
I don't know if there's a whole lot that disappoints me. I think like you said, when we had some brain-dead moments on defense where we left shooters wide open, and while they only were 5 for 25, I think 3 of those 5 were huge shots that kind of were daggers for us towards the end. So while we held them to 20% from 3, it was the 3 or 4 of them at key moments in the game that we didn't execute properly on defense, and that really hurt us and put the dagger in it for us.
All right, Coach, we'll see you on Saturday in Fort Wayne.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Once again, Andrew Wingreen, Pilots a hard luck loser in overtime here today. Pilots are now 7-2 here at home, and once again now they're 3-3 when they are trailing at the half. Pilots now 6-2 wearing the white jerseys here today. So the Bethel seniors will have to wait for another opportunity to win their class's 100th game, as that was denied here by Mount Vernon. Coach, you got the final numbers.
Yeah, the visitors shot 29 of 63 from the floor. They were 46%. 5 of 20 from downtown, 20%. They were 14 of 17 from the free throw line, 83%. 36 rebounds, 9 on the offensive end. They had 16 assists to 12 turnovers. Individually, Vipperman had 11 points, 3 rebounds. Jordy Moss, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 block shots, and a steal. He only played 23.5 minutes. So, Joe Schmitz, 12 points, 2 rebounds. He had 2 huge threes in the second half. Jacob Paul had 9 points, 4 rebounds. Jeremiah Roberts, 10 points and 3 boards. Jevin Knox had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Austin Jones, 6 points, 2 rebounds. Jay Joseph had a point, and David Delahunty had 3 points and 1 rebound. For the home team, they were 31 of 69 from the floor, 45%. 7 of 23 from behind the line, 30%. 4 of 8 from the free throw line, 50%. 40 rebounds, 13 on the offensive end, 17 assists to 15 turnovers. Individually, Gage Ott was 8 of 11 from the floor, all in the second half. He had 16 points, 6 rebounds. Paul Foreman, 1 of 7 from the floor, 6.7 rebounds. Trayvon Covington, 5 of 15 from the floor, including 3 triples, 13 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals. Kyle Hartman was 4 of 7 from the field. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. Tanner Shepard, 3 of 8 from the floor, 7 points, 4 rebounds. Ryan Lutz, 5 of 13. He only hit 1 shot in the second half, 12 points, 5 rebounds. Dominic Jenko picked up a foul. Luke Fisher, 7 points, 5 rebounds. Kyle Thompson, 4 points, 3 rebounds.
Once again, the Pilots let go a 55-44 lead and fall in overtime. Pilots will be in action on Saturday in Fort Wayne against the University of St. Francis. Mount Vernon will be at home to Huntington University. Once again, now we have a two-way tie for third place in the Crossroads League, as Bethel and Mount Vernon are both sitting there at 6 and 3 respectively. So that's going to do it for this one here today. In overtime, the Pilots fall to Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon wins its first game ever in school's history here on Mike Lightfoot Court. And the Pilots, here is the 21st meeting all time, only the 6th win for Mount Vernon ever against the Bethel College Pilots. Pilots' 4-game winning streak against Mount Vernon comes to a halt here tonight. For all of us at Regional Radio Sports, for our wonderful crew back up there, Tiny Country, Andrew Bowen and his staff, for Coach Mark Gardner, I'm Paul Country. God bless you all. Semper Fidelis. Good night, everyone.